Tony
Ladies and
Basilio.
gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
I really wanted to join Russell today. I really wanted to join Dubsy and my boy William Pattison today. Tony Basilio live in the Rainier studio, but I couldn't get there. But they're at Smoky Mountain Brewery today, Turkey Creek, and the reason we couldn't get there is John Adams couldn't make it. So, no John, no me, no you, no you, me, no me, no me, no you, no you, no bueno. But, excuse me, baking powder?
You never mentioned that to me.
I know. I never mentioned it to me. So today on the show, we're going to cover the basketballs. We're going to cover the basketballs. We're going to cover the men's and the women's. It's Basketball Tuesday. Basketball Tuesday. Basketball Tuesday. And something for Joey.
Do you...
Those are our titles today. It's Basketball Tuesday and something for Joey.
Did you at a young age, were you repetitive like you are now?
No, I'm trying to burn the title back to her because she wants to know what the title is. This is total team effort here, buddy boy.
Laura said she's playing golf today with her son.
She didn't tell me that. Are you really? That's nice.
You really have a good situation
it's
going
good
here.
To find out these things from my Tuesday cohort presented by Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. May I brag on Jennifer for a second? Yes, I may. What a wonderful lady. What a wonderful lady. What a terrific lady. Vandy Daddy's in here bragging that the Lady Doors got another top 10 win last night. So Vanderbilt's got a pretty good basketball team? Women?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not the
Kinda
top
like we
echelon.
Kind of like we are?
Maybe a little better, but I could see Tennessee beating Vanderbilt, yeah.
We've got that to talk about today. I got to ask John if he's owed an apology. Hey, Matt, as I bring Matt Diskin in. Matt, great report today over at tclub.team. I'd encourage anybody to read it. I've had several people reach out to me and say that they really appreciate your report today, Matt. So thank you for that. Matt? Can Matt hear me? Bri, can you hear me? I mean, it would help, John, if we got in here and did some, pre-production meeting. It doesn't sound like they can hear me.
Looks like it's all on me today.
What have we done here, John?
Exactly I don't know,
what?
Tony.
I mean, what is going on here? Laura, Mayday, 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 Mayday. John, do I owe you an apology over the Kim Caldwell stuff? When you asked her that question, I thought it was smug and arrogant of you and off-putting and like that you attacked her. When you asked her what? Do you remember what you asked her?
Oh, at our introductory press conference, I simply asked, do you think you're playing at a higher level of basketball now? Do you think you'll need to tweak your system? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all. It was,
and her
reply was, no. If I didn't think this would work here, I wouldn't have taken the job. Something along those lines, I think.
Do you, what do you think now?
Oh, I think she'll tweak her system.
She will?
Has to. It won't work against the most elite teams. You see right now, the Lady Vols don't press as much as they did when she first started here. And if you go back and look at her body of work before that, at her lower level, the full court press, they pressed relentlessly. Also, she's changed her substitution pattern somewhat. It's not as much inline 5 for 5 as it was earlier. But what she has to do next is really find an alternative to these three-pointers. If you're going to run this system and rely heavily on three-point shooting, then you better have some marksmen out there on the perimeter. and right now Tennessee's struggling at that. South Carolina went to a zone, so you would think a good 3-point shooting team, you're in a 2-3 or 1-3-1, they might carve that up. Now South Carolina does have pretty good length, but anyway, Tennessee just kept firing threes, and they were missing. Not only missing, but missing badly. It was a bad look. When you go 10 for 44 on threes, you better have an alternative. And maybe we could ask Mark that today. Is he going to be with us? I saw Mark yesterday at the tip-off
and the lunchy bunch. You went over?
Yes.
Who was the speaker yesterday?
Rick Barnes.
Oh, how cool. How was he?
It was great. And also they honored Rick Russo.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a surprise. They did a
Rick,
on
Rick didn't know it was happening.
Coming.
Yeah,
and Barnes was in on it, right? Barnes was.
Yeah.
So tell everybody what happened.
Well, Rick was there just to be there, I think, but he might have wondered because his wife and daughter and a daughter showed up there, but
it's not working at all.
No, Rick didn't see this coming. Rick Russo didn't, and. So Marcos Garza was there.
Yeah.
He always attracts a crowd. People love Marcos.
He's a moron.
He's probably saved a lot of people their money.
So
time.
Question for you. On this Kim Caldwell thing, which I find fascinating now, because I've never heard a coach say what she said about her team the other night. She said, and I want to read something to you. Tony, I've been a faithful follower for many years. This guy texted me last night. But I've been so disappointed in recent months on your sudden crash on Dr. Danny and the Lady Vols. Experiment. Really, her first year with what she inherited was phenomenal. This year has been gut-wrenching at times, but your comments are destructive and biased. In my opinion, you've lost your objective.
Well, you're not supposed to be objective. You're a talk show host. I'm not objective. I'm a columnist. You are paid to deliver your opinion. I'm paid to deliver mine. So what's he talking about? Objective? Now,
that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, of course. You got to give your take.
I said to him, sorry to disappoint. I abhor coaches that don't take responsibility for what they're responsible for. And she's been set up nicely by this athletic director to succeed. I'm just calling balls and strikes here. Fair reply? That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you also could have lectured him on the role that you have. I mean, I've been hearing that my whole career is, well, you're not being objective. Well, I've been a columnist almost my entire sports writing career. I'm not supposed to be objective. It's my take on something. Good, bad, whatever. And so I don't know why people respond. My gosh. And
our takes are wrong a lot. Like, that's kind of that's the other side of this. It's like.
Look, here's the thing. I thought Kim Caldwell did a tremendous job last season.
Me too.
She took over a team and had to indoctrinate her team in a completely different system. Those players weren't recruited for that.
Yep.
And I thought she did a masterful job, won 24 games, went to the Sweet 16 this year's, and also was competitive. Lost by a couple of points to LSU, by one to Oklahoma, beat UConn by 4, played South Carolina a 7-point game. She took on the best teams in the country, lost to Texas by maybe 4, and held her own against them. Her team did. This team that she sort of pulled together there, she brought in some transfers, but mostly these were the players that were left for her, and I thought it was a tremendous coaching job and gave fans a real reason to be optimistic over what was to come. This team, more talent, more athletic.
Atrocious team.
But it can't shoot
from a
three.
Team standpoint.
What it does, Tennessee has the talent that everybody talks about parity in women's basketball. There's more of that than it used to be, but there's still a group of elite teams. At the top, like a Texas, South Carolina, UConn, Connecticut. And they're playing a different level. You've addressed this before. It's one thing to beat number 21, say Alabama, or win at Georgia when it might have has only lost 4 games.
Yeah.
But those teams, what's happening is their flaws and their shortcomings become very apparent against teams of this magnitude. But what was really, and she said this, you talked about, she did throw her team under the bus. She said they quit.
Is there a place to say that? Is there a place for a head coach?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a motivational.
You don't mind that? Because I was talking to people poking around at UT yesterday afternoon, and they're highly concerned that she would say that publicly. They don't think it's a good look for the fans. They don't think it's a good look for her. They don't think that there's a concern level as well from a PR standpoint about her saying that my team arrived late before that loss to Mississippi State. Like, these are you wondering, do you want an apology? Because I really came down. Matt, do we owe John an apology? John was right. Kind of like Negative. He got his apology. Matt, what do you think?
You can. I mean, you made such a big deal out of, one question then. I'd prefer not to make a bigger deal out of it now.
Yeah.
A few years later.
Well, Tony just took that thing and blew it all out of proportion, I thought.
Which he rarely does.
Oh, my.
I actually think there's a lot of parallels between the Lady Vols and Kentucky basketball after this weekend. Like, everything that John just kind of said about the Lady Vols, kind of overachieved in year one with a roster that was kind of put together, recruited a more talented team, spent a bunch of money, but the pieces don't fit, doesn't quite gel with what the coach wants to run. Based from this weekend, since I kind of watched both of them, I think there's some parallels between the two.
That's fair. And to Tony's point, though, I don't think anything is off the table, especially in this era. Tennessee's players are probably pretty well paid. They have one of the higher payrolls in women's basketball,
that's right,
NIL-wise. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I believe in holding players accountable. The problem is when you do that, you also need to point out your own flaws. See, I think
that's my problem with her.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Well, yeah, she's looking at it from coach to team.
Yeah.
She's not thinking big picture as much there. And here's the thing, too. Mm-hmm. If Rick Barnes does that, it's a little different because Rick Barnes has won about 850 games. He's on his way to 1,000. I mean, if Kim Mulkey does that or Gino Auriemma. I've heard Gino Auriemma throw his team under the bus. But it's usually a motivational ploy, and I think that's what she's trying to do here is a motivational ploy. But I got a text from a former Lady Vol player, who not to that point about throwing players under the bus.
They hate the level of play. They hate.
Well, but here's the thing.
Go ahead.
That she pointed out.
Yeah,
and I think it's a very fair point. Dawn Staley, obviously one of the best coaches in the country, 3 national titles. Early part of that game, Tennessee's getting to the basket on South Carolina. It's kind of holding its own, getting to the basket, and she goes to a zone. I haven't seen Staley play zone much.
Only done it one other time. We had a guy in here yesterday at in our YouTube room, and I checked on it after he said it. She's only done it one time in her career.
I find that really odd.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this last week.
They won't do it.
Come on. You can't, to me, as a coach, you can't be married to your system. You got to be married to winning and do whatever it takes.
And Dawn Staley said, you know what? You guys can't shoot, and I'm gonna beat you by 50 now.
I know.
We're taking that away from you.
Think about it.
But a lot of coaches wouldn't do it, John. A lot of coaches would rather lose and not play a zone defense. Matt, to me, that's the most curious thing. If you were to make a football analogy, it'd be like a defensive coordinator saying, I'm only going to play man.
Man, yeah.
I'm not going to play zone at all. Matt, it makes no sense
We're
that
not.
these people have you-know-what measuring contests with each other over who plays a zone and who plays a man. I would much rather beat somebody by 45 points, Matt, playing a zone defense and walk out of there going, hey, you know what? I had to play zone today. They were kind of carving us up and we were playing man. I mean, I had to. It makes no sense, Dixon. That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't because, like you said, she had never played it before. So Tennessee wasn't prepared for it at all. So, and they obviously had no idea what to do against it and never could adjust because they just weren't ready for it. But yeah, it's curious that coaches don't do that more in this kind of era of, analytics and just kind of overcoaching so much that teams don't just kind of throw that in occasionally against teams. But nobody. But again, nobody does it. Nobody does that.
Nobody.
It's just a weird deal.
It is. It's a sign of weakness to play a zone defense. Is it in women's basketball too, John? Same kind of thing.
I've never even thought about that. I certainly don't look at it as
she's never played zone.
Okay, well, and here's the thing. So why did she do it? Dawn Staley, she's not in the Final Four. She's not in the Elite Eight. So what if she loses to Tennessee? I mean, it's not crushing her season. I would be curious about why she chose to do it at that time if she's never done it. And to me, if I'm Dawn Staley, or here's another thing, what about Tennessee plays Texas, one of the best teams in the country?
Saturday.
Is it Sunday?
Sunday, I'm sorry.
In Knoxville. And Texas has as much size, more size than South Carolina. Very athletic. Got a lot of big players, big guards. I mean, if they wanted to play a zone, they could sure play one. But here's the oddity of it. You say, well, Lady Vols weren't prepared for the zone.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't know. I don't know whether they were or not.
Well, but how? But
they got beat 45 points, though.
Well, I know. But all they did was jack up threes. Think about this. You're getting ready to play a three-point shooting team.
Yeah.
I mean, how many coaches say, man, we got to get our zone out for that three-point team? No, you think of three-point shooting teams, they shoot a team out of a zone. We got to get in their face. And here's Tennessee just how should they have approached that zone?
Hey, Matt, I'm going to take your comparison one step further because this is an interesting thing about sport. Josh Heupel inherited Jeremy Pruitt's players. Okay. By the way, Jeremy Pruitt did a really classy thing yesterday and honored his word at Jacksonville State instead of taking the Maryland job. Staying at a lower level, making less money because he made a commitment to his friend, and he turned Mike Loxley down yesterday. A lot of people don't do that. I wanted to just say that.
Wait a minute.
I know Jeremy Pruitt has a lot of friends in the local community, and I think that's a really good, classy sign on him to do that. But here's the analogy. So Josh Heupel has all this success with a lot of players that he inherited, okay? And then he goes out and recruits his own, okay? And you would think, God, it's going to get better and better. But they can't replicate, when he brings in his own players, what they did with somebody else's players. Mark Pope inherits a ragtag team last year, and they take him to the Sweet 16. Now, listen, if you're a Kentucky fan and you're listening to us, okay, I'm doing the math in tomorrow's blog. Y'all are going to go into the tournament as a 6, 7, or an 8 seed because you're getting ready to lose a bunch of games here down the stretch. No offense to you. But again, you ought to take one of your home games and move it to Middlesboro High School because you're mid. And it's a shame there's not a middle Kentucky University. You could play a game there because you guys have a mid basketball team this year. And Matt's right. Last year's team, for some reason, fit better than this year's team. Kim Caldwell goes out this offseason, and this is why it's a great comparison. And the Heupel comparison is very good, too. Heupel has been seeded with money since NIL has started. Yes or no, John?
Yes, he has.
And his choice of quarterbacks to this point has been curious, to say the least. They're now so confident in what they have that they're appealing to the courts. Something for Joey, 1 extra year for Joey Aguilar to keep us from seeing what they have. I don't understand it, but that's what they're doing. It's interesting that these people can do their best coaching in year one. Here's the other thing I wonder about Kim Caldwell. I ask you, and I ask, and also the guy at Kentucky, Matt. Here's another thing worth discussing. Could it be that these coaches go to work on the way you like to play and come up with checks for what you like to do? Could it be that he was seen one time through the league and it was, the guy at Kentucky, and it was, it was a little different, and we got to get our hands on what he's trying to do. But you got smart people in these places, and they, just like with Heupel's defense, they figured out the 2 or 3 high safety look. Let's take the deep ball away or make them earn the deep ball one way or another, but no more of this conventional defense against them. And then with the third comparison, they're not allowing Our Lady to disrupt everything that they were doing, and teams are getting layups and getting shots at the rim with a high frequency when you watch a Lady Vols play the halves. And John will tell you this because I've watched them. I watch these games. I watch that UCLA game. It's like a layup line.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaime Jaquez's sister, okay, literally made like 10 layups against them. And they are uncontested at the basket layups. John, am I lying? It is Katie bar the door for them on defense.
I started early.
Yeah.
Because I was writing a column on the game, so I started early noting layups. And then in the third quarter, I just stopped. There were just so many. It was like, well,
you were putting checks on the paper or whatever.
What's the point of keeping tabs on them? It's just a layup avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
It really looked in the second half, and I think they had 13 layups in the first half. And that was the lull before the storm. I mean, there were so many more coming. And Caldwell's right. Her team did quit. They just quit.
Broke their will.
Yeah.
But you give up that many. When you're down 30, and then they take the Paolo girl out because she physically can't play in that game. She's just not ready yet. She's just too little, and she's getting kind of shoved around.
She's a really good player. She's one of their better players. Mm-hmm. One of their top 4 or 5 players. Mm-hmm. However, there are sometimes at height, as good as Zakai Ziegler, I'm not saying she's going to be as good as he was. As good as he was, mm-hmm. There were times, though, he's great at stealing the ball, mm-hmm. but guys could shot over him.
No question.
I mean, that comes into play at some point.
Yes.
And if you got Texas has a Rory Horriman is about 5'7" guard, mm-hmm. and she's an unbelievable defender, and she's very strong for her size. Mm-hmm. If there are a few players that can do that, and Paldo may be able to do that as she goes through her college career, mm-hmm. but you do give up a little something with that unless mm-hmm. they're totally tenacious. I think, though, with another example of this, I think part of it factors into recruiting. Caldwell's got a lot of money to play with NIL-wise, mm-hmm. so she goes out and recruits a top-notch class. Mm-hmm. Is she recruiting all-stars, or is she recruiting the best players for her system? Now, again, they aren't always the same. One thing last year's team had, it didn't have the athleticism of this one, but it had some spot-up three-point shooters.
That's right.
And you need a blend. See, to me, with this team, I wouldn't be so worried about the three-pointer. I would mix that in, but I would want to get – you're athletic, you've got some size, go to the basket. I don't know if anybody out there has a mid-range game.
Yeah.
But what do you do
yep.
if the other team is playing a zone and you're supposed to be a three-point shooting team, and you can't shoot them.
My thing is this. My thing is this, and it's just very simple. Okay. Can she turn this thing around this year? It's what you're getting paid for. Did she reach her team the other day with her comments, or did she lose her team with her comments? Because that is a strange listen. Somebody said, well, why were you guys talking about yesterday? Here's why I was talking about yesterday. It was all over the ESPN stuff. It was all over like CBS Sports yesterday and Super Bowl Sunday. When a coach comes out and says after a game, my team's quitters, nobody says that. Nobody says that. I mean, that's napalming your team. I mean, nobody says that.
Pat Summitt would say that.
But she would also say what else?
She didn't have to say anything else.
She would blame herself, too. That's how she was. You know that.
No, but there were times she would single out players. I always use this example.
Yeah.
They're playing in Ruston, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Dan Flesser, our beat guy, couldn't go for some reason. And maybe I just went because I was going home to Louisiana. Mm-hmm. So I covered the game. They get beat. This is back in the 90s. They get beat by 18 points. Mm-hmm. Post-game, you send out two players post-game press conference. Coach comes out and then two or three players. She sent out the two players that played the worst. Mm-hmm. Told them, you go explain what happened. When she did it, she made players accountable. Mm-hmm. You can do that. It depends on what kind of relationship you had with the players. Now, Pat Summitt was already a legendary coach at that point. Mm-hmm. But Pat Summitt had a real gift for being able to be a player's buddy off the court and the taskmaster at practice and during a game. Not all coaches can walk that tightrope.
The question is, and this is a question a lot of people are asking around this thing right now, did Danny White reach and take a risk when he didn't have to, when he had guys like Jeff Walls out there that wanted the job, and he had other proven coaches that wanted the job? Because what they've done is, what Danny's done is, he's taken a rather inexperienced coach and who's got kind of a sort of a strange, whatever the term is, a peculiar approach to what she's trying to do. It's definitely different. And they've salted her with a lot of money. Rather than giving her a lot of money and not putting a lot of money in the payroll, they've chosen to go the Texas Tech route, essentially. And I don't know if they made I don't know if the hire is the right hire. I don't know.
Well, you don't. It may be still. You don't know yet, because, again, good first year.
She feels out of her depth, John, to me.
I hear that a lot. She feels out of her depth against the best teams in the country. But how many other teams seem out of their depth when they play LSU, Texas, South Carolina, and UConn, and UCLA now? I think that has to come into play into your thinking. Here's the thing, though. As bad as they looked at against UConn, and even worse, South Carolina is a good team. This is not one of Dawn Staley's awesome teams.
My gosh, you got to be kidding.
No, this isn't one of her best. No, this isn't one of her best teams.
My Roan.
But they still could beat Tennessee by 43 points.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, but I still think Tennessee will make the NCAA tournament. It will get a high enough seed because of strength of schedule, where I wouldn't be shocked if it's back in the Sweet 16, which is pretty much where it's been ever since the final days of Pat Summitt. So
the question is, though, when you have that kind of payroll and you're pouring that kind of money into it, is that what you're aspiring to be in the Sweet 16?
No. Okay, well, see, that's a valid point, because then let's go back to the people funding the payroll.
Right.
Okay, so they saw in Kelly Harper Her team was making the NCAA tournament. It was winning 20-something games. But they didn't want to raise the ante. They didn't want to add any more. No, they didn't believe she could take them to a higher level.
Hey, Brian, was Kelly Harper ever getting blowed out like this? Because Laura and I were talking about this last night. Or the coach before her that now
Holly
has
Warlick.
season tickets on the right down low. She sits down low and watches this crash and burn. Bri, did that happen under them?
The last season that they played South Carolina with Kelly,
right,
they had him beat. They actually were competitive 3 times against him, home and away, and they had him beat in the SEC tourney in South Carolina. Made like a fluke shot they banked in to beat him by 1, I think.
Well, they made a shot because nobody guarded a 3-point shooter.
They were in that game, is the point.
Oh, yeah,
I think
you're
that was
right.
a pretty good South Carolina team.
Yeah, you're right. But that was a great South Carolina. I thought that South Carolina team had far more weapons than this one. But I think
was last year's UConn game like the Miracle on Ice? I mean, we're getting ready to. Are we gonna make a documentary about that? How do you explain that?
No, but UConn has not lost a game since then. In a basketball season, all teams have, there's some ebb and flow to this. You're really good. You're not at the top of your game every weekend, and I don't think that was a game as big as the UConn-UT rivalry once was. I don't think UConn players could say, "Oh, it's Tennessee. Oh my gosh, we got to be at our best."
And they circled it this year, didn't they? That's kind of what.
Well, yeah. But I think after that was kind of a watershed moment for UConn, because after that, it didn't lose. You go back and look at UConn's run through the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Nothing close.
Hey, Matt, I'm super pissed off that we lost Saturday night in basketball. I came on here in a really bad mood yesterday. Bino is so right that those Kentucky games, for some reason, I don't mind it. Like, if the Hayes kid, was it the Hayes kid? Who was the kid that came in here and put 50 on us? It wasn't Hayes.
Jody
Meeks.
Jody Meeks.
That happens to you, and you're like, okay, whatever. It's just kind of a crazy game, and you lose at home. When this mid-Kentucky team gets up from not one, but 2 14-point deficits, and poor Rick Barnes might have had his worst night with a clipboard in his hand the other night. Guy's a great coach. Every button they pushed the other night was a wrong button. And it happens. It happens. It happens to me. It happens to all of us. And poor Estrella. That old, you had a bad day, take it one, huh? He just, my gosh, man. Matt, for some reason, that game is like lingering on me. What do you think?
It was just a repeat of the first game, pretty much. And, unfortunately, that's kind of been what Kentucky's done all year is get down big. And a few times they've come back and won. So, no, it's frustrating. It was awful to watch. The offense in the second half was just atrocious because they were able to deny Ament the ball. And then, you have nothing else unless Gillespie's, just making shots that he jacks up, and he wasn't. So, but it's, it frustrates the hell out of me because that Kentucky team is just not very good. They're not any kind of championship contender on any level
at all.
But the Barnes versus Pope thing is it's just a bad matchup for Barnes because Pope's really good at the in-game adjustments, which I think gives Barnes trouble. Him and his staff are just kind of late to adjust to some of that stuff in the moment. And we saw the same thing every time he faces Bill Self in Kansas. And Kansas came back from, I think they were down 11 or 12 to an undefeated Arizona team, and came back and won last night.
Sure did.
Like you see teams blow these leads often, like the double digit stuff. It doesn't make it any better, but it's just kind of what happens. It just absolutely sucks that it's Kentucky that we're on the wrong end of.
Well, one thing I want to ask Mark Griffin about when he's in here is the timeout taking. Pope the other night, slow to run. Our Ament guy was getting ready to have a 20-point explosion if he didn't call a timeout. Because he took it a minute and a half before the commercial break, if you go back and look at it, the planned timeout, scheduled timeout, and he said, I gotta stop this thing. Our guy sits over there and never does that. It's like Bino said. It's almost like at the coaches convention at the end of the year when they meet, they get together and there's somebody that has like a PX window, like when you're in the military, and they have some kind of script for these coaches that they can redeem for whatever they can redeem for in the coaches store. And Rick, you saved 150 timeouts this year. Coach Calipari, you saved 130.
Oh yeah,
it's bizarre. It
you
is,
get a pair of pliers and a screwdriver.
Whatever.
With the PX.
It's bizarre. Yeah. It's totally bizarre that we don't affect the game. And Matt just openly said into a microphone, and you made a face when he said it, that it's not a good matchup when you go against the coach from, looks like Bambi over there, from BYU, who literally has 2 NCAA tournament wins in his lifetime, but he's in-game adjusting in these Tennessee games, and that's not good for us, John. Now, hang on. I want you to talk about, because we're going to continue on the other side. I just looked down. God, we're way over our first break after this.
When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gufon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gufon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gufon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com. Or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marco Scarza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is here. Is your heating system ready and running efficiently? Don't wait to find out. A simple tune-up now can help prevent costly breakdowns when you need your heat the most. Right now, Pipe Wrench is offering a $79 heating system tune-up to keep your home warm, safe, and worry-free all winter long. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune every part of your heating system for maximum efficiency and comfort, helping you avoid surprise breakdowns and high energy bills. And with Pipe Wrench Home Service's same-day service guarantee, you won't be left out in the cold waiting for help. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Schedule your $79 heating system tune-up today at pipewrench.com before winter decides to test your heater. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. For standard systems only, visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com. Living Vol fan, when it's time to get ready for 2026 and what's ahead, there's only one place. It's Alumni Hall, the best and largest selection of Tennessee apparel for the whole family. Top brands, Nike, Champion, Columbia, Peter Millar. And check this out. All the basketball stuff that the Tennessee basketball fan could ever need. Some great Tennessee baseball stuff as well. Any season, any reason. Alumni Hall, 3 locations in Knoxville. Also Murfreesboro, Bristol, and now open, of course, in Johnson City. And anytime online, alumnihall.com. Say it loud, say it proud. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall. Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the volunteer state by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof. T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right. Drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Bradley's and your Tony Basilio show are a Knoxville tradition. And these days, just like Tony B's show has taken off like a rocket ship, so have my friends at Bradley's. Sure, they still have all the delicious chocolate you're used to, like the chocolate-covered popcorn in the assortment boxes. They're now called Bradley's Gift and Home, and they have so much more than chocolate. Bradley's Gift and Home has all kinds of amazing curated gifts. jewelry, candles, and other for her gift items that will keep you from having to go anywhere else. Guys, trust me, as Basilio would say, Bradley's Gift and Home have taken it to the next level. And remember, Bradley's will have freshly dipped chocolate-covered strawberries in milk and white chocolate at both of their locations, 141 North Peters Road and 138 Biddle Farms Boulevard in Farragut next to Tupelo Honey. Strawberries available February 13th and 14th. See you at Bradley's Bradley's Gift and Home. See our website, shopbradleys.com.
Every time Turner says Tupelo Honey, I always sing You're as Sweet as Tupelo Honey. We do have to give away some chocolate-covered strawberries today on the 13th and the 14th, available for you at Bradley's Gift and Home. Their new location out at Biddle Farms Road, out in Farragut, of course, over there off North Peters Road, where they've been forever and a day. Shout out to Brad and Joy and the gang there getting ready for the onslaught this week. This is a season of love, and I just want to live in peace and harmony. You know, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I can't do it myself, though. Hey, Dubsy, you're like a musician. Russell Smith joining, who's live at Smoky Mountain Brewery today, Turkey Creek. Can you sing harmony, Russell? Can you hear harmony when you're singing?
Tony, I couldn't hit a high note with a hammer.
You don't have to hear the high note. You just got to sing thirds or fifths, whatever it calls for. So you can sing below somebody in a third or a fifth, but it's got to be somewhat in some sort of, what's the term? Some sort of note pattern. Can you do that, Dubsy? Can you hear it to do it?
Man, I was trying to sing along to we listened to Sirius Lithium with the fam, trying to do some Alice in Chains.
Yes.
And my kids were like, Dad, you sound like somebody's strangling a cat underwater. Please stop.
I try to sing like some stuff under Lauren sometimes when we're out there doing our thing, and she'll look over at me like, please shut up. She won't say it, but she just looks at me like, would you stop? Just sit over there like Barney Fife and do the thing where you move your mouth. How about you, John? Can you sing? Can you sing harmony with somebody?
I could sing.
Huh?
I could sing. I mean, I do solo. I'm not harmonizing with people.
Sing me something.
Goodbye, Norma Jean, though I never knew you at all.
Go! Adams, I never knew you had it in you.
Yeah, Elton John.
I thought you would bust me a little Elvis, since Elvis is kind of your jam. Hey, Dubsy, so we're doing a live celebration today out at Smoky Mountain Brewery, Turkey Creek. Tell me about it, because the young man, William Pattison, takes the bandstand at noon. Are we going to do a watch-along with the Olympics this afternoon as well?
Yeah, I mean, could be. It could be a Kim Caldwell appreciation party. It could be a Rick Barnes versus Mark Pope, whatever's going on there, appreciation party. But, yeah, we're going to be getting into it. 1 to 6 p.m., special 5-hour encore broadcast here on Fan Run Radio this afternoon. So want folks to come out and see us at Smoky Mountain Brewery at Turkey Creek. You know what an awesome place is.
Awesome.
Have the Ramblers ever played Smoky Mountain Brewery?
Oh,
Turkey
yes.
Creek?
Oh, yes. You got to turn it up. You got to toin it up when you're in there. It's a big room to fill.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though, Dubsy. You come out, you support Dubsy, you're supporting us. You're supporting me here, and you help us continue to grow and continue to do what we're doing. And shout out to my friends at your Copper Cellar Corporation for the business here and allowing us to do what we're doing. And it's great that you guys are going to be out there. Russell, we got to talk about, at that spot or Maryville, one of these places, we got to talk about doing a watch party here during basketball season. You think people would come out, Dubsy, for a watch party for our basketball team as uneven as it's been?
Yeah, I think they would. I mean, and if you're going to have it, that's the best place to have it. The TV setup there is incredible, the food, the beverage, and everything. So, yeah, I mean, we'll do our part. The question is Rick Barnes and his program going to do their part?
Dubsy, what'd you make of that? I was just talking to the great Mark Griffin off the air, and Matt, and I don't know, man. For some reason, that loss those two losses are just lingering.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's an obvious pattern there. I mean, we've lost, 5 of the last 6, 7 of the last 9 against those guys after Rick Barnes had it kind of going against them. Yep. And so, I mean, it's just completely fallen apart since Mark Pope got there. And it's frustrating, but, I mean, you could kind of see it coming. As soon as that second half started and they started chipping away, it's like, oh, man, we've seen this movie again. So, I mean, it's a roller coaster this season, and, you know, you're probably going to have a bunch of more wins. I think they're going to go on another win streak here. There's probably going to be a head-scratching loss or two along the way, but it's, man, can you be peaking at the right time, playing your best basketball going into March, and can we find a third scorer to go along with Ament and Gillespie? Like, those guys are fine, but it's tough to do it with just 2 guys out there, and somebody else has got to step up.
Well, Matt Dixon the other night on our postgame had a great point, which is if those 2 guys don't get 50 when you play somebody that can play, you're going to have trouble winning games.
Yeah.
It's sad, man. I mean, it's sad to say that Division I basketball team. If 2 guys don't combine for 50 points, it's going to be really hard to beat somebody. Now, that doesn't say much, John, about the rest of your roster, does it?
No, you need. Well, here's a bright side of that is that Nate Ament might start getting 30 every game.
He's coming close.
He's got that kind of potential. You can see it. And Rick Barnes, addressing the tip-off club yesterday, talked about Nate Ament's not getting any favorable whistles. He thinks they're getting away with more contact against him. And he said, and I would do the same thing, but you know, he wants it called. You see that. I mean, let's face it. Ament is a really hard guy to guard because of his size, his quickness. There was a drive in that game against Kentucky, man. He took that first step and he was just by the defender.
At the end of the game.
Yeah.
Woo! Hey, you know, guys, that walks me into something here. Barnes will say something out loud about officiating and that whole thing. Vitello never hesitated to do it. We know that. Our football coach has never gotten a good whistle in his life and won't say anything about it in the press. Would never say something like that. And here's my thing about officiating. You can say what you want. If you don't fight for your right to party with those guys, you will not party. Am I over-exaggerating that, Dubsy, or is that accurate in your book?
No, I mean, you got to. I think this gets into the Heupel calling plays debate because it seems like a lot of this happens on offense. When it's on defense and he's not calling the plays, he can get in the official's face and ball them out and go on and on. But if it's like a pass interference, like we saw a bunch, or, you know, he wants to argue those offensive pass interference calls that go against us, picks, where you're running the pick play.
Yep.
Like he can give the official the you know, what the heck look, but then he's got to get on to the next play call. So he can't sit there and go full Nick Saban on the officials. So, you know, I don't think he has time. But as far as like after the game, I mean, you raise a good point. He did that thing where he turned the mic around to Adam Sparks at Alabama a couple of years ago, whatever that was.
Not sufficient.
Other than that,
not sufficient. The turning the mic around, that's what I'm talking about. That turning the mic around thing, you got to look into a microphone and say, like Barnes did yesterday. Barnes knows there's press there. Barnes knows you're going to come on the air and say something about it. He knows the press is there. But he doesn't care.
Tony, we talk about, you know, coach has got to have a guy in the booth to help him manage the clock and timeouts and all that. If Heupel's not going to surrender play calling, why doesn't he hire an official bitch out the refs guy to stand on the sideline and just go crazy on the officials so that he can get on with calling the game?
Well, the officials might not respect that guy. Just, who is that? Some homeless person wandered onto the field?
And why'd you look at me when you said that? And by the way, on the way out here, maybe we could get one of our drunken post-game callers that you and I share. And
Yeah.
it's to reach out and touch someone after these games.
Is Don from Sweetwater or Wuhan Don, as you guys call him, is he still around? I mean, he loves to talk to the officials.
Wait a minute. I
evoked his name, Dubsy, the other night when we were watching, and they missed a call late. I said, old Don from Sheepwater's out there listening. Don, I love you. Hey, tell him where you're going to be today, Dubsy, and I love you.
Oh, I love you too, brother. Thanks for the plug. Getting set to head down to Smoky Mountain Brewery. Going to help the great William Pattison.
Yep.
And those guys get set up. They're going to be doing their thing from 1 to 3, and then we'll be down there from 3 to 6, having a cold beverage or two, maybe some pizza, a little appetizer, something like that.
It's mixed doubles curling today, the finals. It's the U.S. and Sweden. It begins while we're on the air here in a little bit. And I love curling, one of the great strategy sports in all the world. We've invited Ken Palm to come on Thursday with us. He's got a site called doubleknockout.com, and we're going to see if Ken Palm will come on and talk some curling with us. Dubsy, enjoy the curling.
I would have taken you for more of a luge guy, but sure, we'll do that.
I'll tell you because I have sinus problems. Thank you, Dubsy. Good talking to you.
Yes.
865-200-5402. Do you watch the Winter Olympics, John, at all? And if you do, what do you like to watch?
My wife's a big fan of the skating, so I watch some of that with her.
That's those
people. What's this guy's name? Leah Malinin?
Leah? I don't know. I'm not familiar
he's
with
already
Leah.
Two-time world champion. He's like 21 years old. He can do things nobody's ever done.
Matt, do you watch at all any of the Winter Olympics? And did you watch Lindsey Vonn the other day?
I did see that on Peacock. I've been trying to watch it. It's hard to figure out what's on and where. But no, I watch some of the stuff. Some of the skiing stuff, the luge, some of that stuff is pretty cool.
Curling is an incredible sport, y'all. When you learn to understand it and the nuances of it, Tony Jones. What are you laughing about?
You. Never mind. Let's move on.
Let's go to the phones. We're not going to move on. We're going to go to the phones, brah. Which the Kentucky fans love me using the term brah and bro. I found out. Let's go to the phones. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
What do you say, Tony? John?
Hey, T. 3 days out, brah. 3 days out.
Can't wait, Tony. It's going to be next level.
I will be there.
Outstanding.
You want to come over? You want to come over with us, Sean?
Where?
To the baseball game. Friday.
No, I think
I'll
watch it.
Good weather?
I think I'll watch it on TV.
What a low.
Where are you sitting?
Great seats. Laura and I are going. Part of our Valentine's weekend. Our package.
Really?
Yeah. Go ahead, Taylor.
God,
Interesting. John Adams, I thought Coach Kim, or Queen Kim, as Tony likes to call her, was absolutely disgraceful in her post-game commentary after the South Carolina game. I thought that she looks overmatched. I think the pressure is getting too much for her. She's never had this level of scrutiny, never had this level of pressure, and have never had this level of failure in her career. You asked her a very challenging question that she tried to emulate that Pat Summitt stare before when she was announced as the head coach. And I kind of thought, scratched my head and thought, she seems to be the type of person, kind of like Danny White, that really doesn't like to be questioned, doesn't like scrutiny, and is her own biggest fan. Am I being too hard on her, John?
Well, you certainly, that's a fair opinion. I don't, I didn't think that, and back to that question, see, I didn't think she was arrogant at all in her answer. I just took it at face value. I thought she was just standing up for her system. And I also didn't think about I thought about that as an introductory press conference answer in which she wants to come on strong, and she did that. Whereas I'm thinking, well, that's a fine answer. That's a good answer. But when we get into the actual games, and you're going to have to adjust. You can't. And I've seen her adjust already. So I just took that. I wasn't offended by it at all. I was surprised that so many people reacted that strongly to her comment. And I think people like seeing the media put in place, and if they wanted to construe it that way, that's fine. I didn't think anything about it. I thought it was a good introductory press conference answer. When you come across, you got to come across strong. I believe in this system. This will work. If I didn't think it'd work, I wouldn't be here.
John never held anything against her, and I never held anything against John for asking the question. If you'll back to that point in time.
It was totally a fair question. I just think she has a way about her that she almost seems like she has a disdain for the media, or at least I should say this, a disdain for being held accountable to answer questions post-game.
She's just not fun. She's just not fun is the way I would put it.
Well, I don't think many coaches – I think coaches don't show it always, but I think most coaches probably look down on the media. Don't you agree with that?
Yes.
They just
the media is an irritant to most coaches.
Yeah,
Taylor.
because it forces them sometimes to address issues they'd rather just shove away.
Even walk-on Wooder, Tony Vitello was like that. Walk-on Wooder, Tony Vitello was a scorekeeper and didn't like being asked questions.
Well,
he wanted
Tony,
praise.
You're just trying to get me. You're trying to get me on the bandwagon and talk about Vitello. But I'll tell you this:
he wanted 24/7 praise like a Labrador.
Well, he gave the most thoughtful, genuine, considerate, straightforward, non-coach speak interviews I've ever seen over on the Hill, my friend.
False or true, John? What do you think?
True.
Well, last thing, John, I would ask you this. And I hope she's successful. I hope she's just not so stubborn where she can't adapt, and not allowing her team, any members of her team, to speak to media after devastating losses seems a little, a little curious to me. Like, I don't know. She looks like she needs to instill some discipline. I don't watch the Lady Vols much. I've started to a little bit, and I've noticed very lackadaisical defense, lackadaisical attitudes, and maybe that's just the world we live in with 1 year heavy portal players. But I would ask you this: in your lifetime over covering sports,
yep,
who is one of your favorite coaches that you felt like gave thoughtful, insightful answers? And other than Coach Caldwell, who do you think maybe needed some media training?
Thank you, T.
Tony, you're the dean. GBO.
Thank you, T. See you over there Friday.
And I can.
Most thoughtful answers was Pat Summitt. I'll help you with that
Pat
one.
Summitt.
Without a doubt.
Definitely. She could.
Most intelligent person outside of Tony Vitello I've ever dealt with in my life in sports.
And she could handle any question.
Anything.
And she took everything. She was straightforward about things, and could speak very eloquently. She was somebody you had no problem asking a two-part question. I always cringe when media types ask two-part questions to most coaches. I mean, come on.
You're not getting them answered. You're lucky if you get a half of your part answered.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
You ask a two-part question to Butch Jones, what's going to happen?
Wow.
Okay, but also, Tony Vitello. I think the best interviews. Now, this is a little different press conference situation, but in an interview setting, and Vitello was really good at this, and so was Pat Summitt. It becomes more conversational than like an interview. Like I ask you a question, you answer.
Well, let's get back to this because I'm already out of time, sir. It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
No, you didn't do it. I did it. I'm the Donovan McSad here, who doesn't know how to manage a clock. Donovan McSad, shout out. 5 will always love you.
Well, I'm glad you're not throwing your cohorts under the bus.
It's my fault. Since we're 5 late, it's my fault. Hour number 2 after this.
You're listening to FM 105.
Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch.
1340 WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law, 5th quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Newsflash, Basilio listeners, the spring real estate market just moved up. Yes, it's chilly outside and you're still in your puffy coat, but if you need to sell your East Tennessee property, you could be the hottest house on the block. Hi there. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. February is the sweetheart month of real estate, and savvy sellers know exactly what that means. Get ahead of the game and give me a call at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality, pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Yeah, but saline with your sinuses really does work, John. As we welcome you back, it is now time, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Mark Griffin Happy Hour, Happy Hoops Hour, / Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch, / it's going to be really hard for me to do the show today because I've got a divided mind because it's time for the U.S. and Sweden and curling. And Griff, I just like Ken Palm himself, who sets the clocks and the watches in college hoops, I am an aficionado of curling. Do you?
Well, I'm glad you have an additional interest now that the Vols and Lady Vols are kind of letting you down this time of the year. You got to have something to pep you up a little bit.
Well, it's like the old country song, "Tonight the Bottle Let Me Down." Who made that? That Merle Haggard, right? Tonight the bottle let me down.
I could hear George Jones singing that too, though.
No question. Any of a myriad of country singers back in the day. All right, Griff, let's get right to it. Main event. Give me a takeaway from the Kentucky loss. This one.
Wow. Disappointing for us, Tony, especially, and I know many of your listeners that, they say, next game, they're all equal. That's a bunch of crap. When you lose to Kentucky, it's double to me, and especially that, as you called, mid-level talent, $22 million group of guys that are not, I think it's the worst talented team that Kentucky's had in 10 years, and it may be more. But on the bright side for Kentucky, they're able to find ways to win. I go back to what I call the blockout blunder, and this is deeper than people saying Evans didn't block out and they had the key rebound at the end, because there's so many plays during the game you can look at, but it's the key plays that hurt you, and that's what separates great teams, are the key plays. I looked more into this, what I call blockout blunder, because I like John yesterday was at the tip-off club and heard Coach Barnes, and he even commented that he had guards in the game for the next possession to be able to, take care of the ball if they got fouled. So it's deeper because Tennessee's big guys are so unreliable in their free throw shooting. You couldn't put a big lineup in for that free throw attempt. Therefore, Kentucky was able to keep the ball alive. So once again, close game, free throw concerns, put guards in, and this is where it bit them. This is where it bit UT. This is where it bit the big guys for not coming through on free throws. And that's what really hurt. And then a second play that I'd like to discuss, when Owe drove to the baseline and kicked. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go right ahead. No, we're talking curling.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, you got to wait. So when Oway drove baseline and kicked it to Chandler for the 3. If you look really closely, you've got Evans standing in space, Carey standing in space. You were taught to rotate your defense when all 5 guys are to rotate in sync, and you don't leave guys open when you're standing mid-range, 12 feet, 10 to 12 feet. You're guarding air. So you had Aberdeen on the baseline, and then you had the shooter that knocked down the 3-pointer that they sent that Oway passed it to. Huge mistake on both defenders, Evans and Carey. You've got to guard people during that rotation. You can't just be standing straight, and it really bet them.
Griff, such a great point, though, about not having big people in the game. We talked about this earlier in the year. They've got a couple big people that literally at the end of games aren't playable, or you have to get off the floor in close games. That became pretty apparent earlier in the year when you looked at the inability to make foul shots. I don't know, though, if it's excusable to not have Brown in the game at that point. It just – here's my thing about it. You tell – because, Griff, you played and then you coached, so you've done it all, okay? Obviously, it goes a lot faster when you're over there on the bench than we think it does. But when you have a staff of like 20 people, like these metastasized staffs these people have now, shouldn't somebody say to the head coach, hey, we got to get Brown. You got to get Brown in the game here.
Oh, there's no doubt. And everyone has their roles of the 20-something people, and they better be clearly defined. Otherwise, it's going to be, very disorganized, with people in Coach Barnes' ear. He is, watching the game, planning 2 or 3 steps ahead. And you talked about the timeouts, which we can get into down the road, but you're always planning ahead and at the same time trying to monitor pace and mismatch and running your next sets, etc. So it's very difficult as a head coach. But, the Brown part, it's a head scratcher. It can happen. I've been in situations, even in travel ball, where I looked over on the sideline. I'm like, oh, my God, I forgot about X player. You sometimes, and I'm sure Barnes wouldn't do this, but a lot of coaches sometimes forget about players because they get so caught up in strategy and what's going to happen next, what's happening now. And you can only take in so much. It's not an excuse. It can happen. Why Brown wasn't in the game, that's something that, that I'm sure has been discussed that I haven't heard on the air. But it goes back to deeper when we've talked about earlier about close games are a concern for Tennessee. And that's my postseason concern, because there's going to be close games. It's not going to be as high scoring. It's going to be guard oriented. Free throws matter more than any time during the year, what we're facing now moving to the end of the season. And that's a concern.
Mark, at the tip-off luncheon yesterday when Coach Barnes was speaker, and he took a number of questions from the audience, one of the club members, as you might have expected, brought up an obvious point about this. He was perplexed by Tennessee's struggles at the foul line. And Rick Barnes made a point of, it's one thing to just shoot foul shots, but it's another to do it with the game on the line in the final seconds and 18,000 people watching. But when you consider what's at stake, particularly in the NCAA tournament, that's almost, to me, something that players or coaches should address, that free throw shooting, even if it means bringing in a sports psychologist and just working with them on free throws. Because your tournament fate, how your whole season will be viewed, often comes down to a free. You brought it up just now in the tournament. A missed free throw will be remembered, could be remembered for the rest of your life.
How about Tennessee versus Michigan State in the Elite Eight all those years ago? Make your foul shots, man. It's hard, a lot easier said than done.
There's got to be a way to improve your free throw shooting.
I mean, I agree, John, and it's a huge mental aspect, because I mentioned this several times, but you're taught as a basketball player, if you're not shooting well from the field, get to the line. If you can draw a foul, get to the line, that's your saving grace. Mm-hmm. That's your confidence builder. That's what you rely on to get the groove going in the future, to get your game turned around on a positive end. It was always, hey, if I get to the line, I can knock down free throws. And it's regardless of what someone's percentage was. It's like, hey, take deep breaths. You got 10 seconds. You shoot the same motion every time. And it just gets you a way to kind of regroup and take a deep breath. But when you get up there at the free throw line, you have no confidence. I mean, that carries over as well. And if I'm an opposing coach, I mean, you know which guys, it's on the scouting report. Yes. You know situations when it's under 4. Hey, we're going after this guy. Because, coaches want to put in their best free throw shooters, but you can't put in 5 guards, a.k.a. Tennessee, what they did, or at least 4 against Kentucky, because what you're giving up, you have to rebound first. And it bit Tennessee at the end.
Go ahead, Matt Dixon. You're one of the lunchy bunch. Jump in here.
Yeah, I just think I think Chandler was like an 85 or 90% free throw shooter. I mean, not to overlook it, but I think Tennessee might have just assumed he was going to make them. Because I kind of did, but it's no excuse to have that happen. So Griff, what do you think about just the Barnes versus Pope deal, and how it just seems like stylistically it's just not a good matchup for Tennessee when you have kind of like the contrast to like Barnes being really good at defending Nate Oates?
Well, I think people make it more about the coaches. I regardless of percent wins versus another coach, I pretty much like to look at the personnel. Oweh has really improved. Now, he struggled at the beginning of the season for Kentucky. Preseason conference player of the year. He and Nate Ament, were kind of along the same trajectory. They were really inside their own heads at the beginning of the season with all this hoopla, and Oweh is trying to shoot more 3-pointers because that's what the NBA told him he needed to improve upon. Even though he's the best driver to the basket in the SEC, he's amazing, and we saw that against Tennessee. But I just look at personnel and I look at situations. It's just some mental lapse that occurred, which is just unfortunate. But you can't guard air, and it just to me it just goes back to the will to win, and that's where I give Kentucky a lot of credit. And it could come from the coach or not, but they've had, I don't know how many games, 6 comeback victories from a 10-point plus deficit or so. I'm not a stats guy like maybe Brian, but they know that they have a chance to come back. The magic number in basketball is if you could cut that deficit to under 10, you got a shot. So regardless if Tennessee's up 17 or 14, that means nothing. As a player, when it cuts to 9 or actually to 10, you always tell yourself, we got a shot.
Yep, no question about it. Griff, what about timeouts? The other night, and I've pointed this out a couple times, but Mark Pope's not afraid to take a timeout to stop a run. Our guy just, not so much. It's not part of his DNA.
Well, what is it? Use them or lose them. I mean, and that's just something we talked about before too. Coaches have this thing about them. Most of them are not going to change. They're going to go with what has worked in the past for them, and it's what they're known for. And you just pretty much know that with Barnes. He's going to save his timeouts. Maybe early in his career he was burnt, where he had utilized his timeouts early, didn't have that at the end, maybe cost him a game and said, look, this isn't going to happen again. I don't know. for me, I'm not as concerned with saving timeouts or using your timeouts. It is strategic, and if it works or there's a change of pace or a turnover or a great play run or a defensive stop, then yes, it's successful. Having one timeout left at the end of the game, not a big deal. Now, if you're holding 3, then that's an issue. But how many times in the last 11 years, I don't know how you look this up, has Barnes had 2+ timeouts saved at the end of the game? I would say it would be, on one hand, maximum.
Griff joining former Vol great Mark Griffin, part of Griffin's Three-Pointers, who provides a great report for us each and every opponent. And Griff, we're talking about, well, there's several different subjects obviously up for grabs today. We're talking about Kim Caldwell and the Lady Vols, which, doesn't generally come up here on the Lunchy Bunch. But her comments in light of the beatdown that they were delivered on Super Bowl Sunday were so extraordinary that they bear some sort of commentating upon. John, what were you telling me about their, because we got some numbers here we're going to go through. What were you telling me, John, about their three-point shooting coming into the South Carolina game?
Tennessee was 192nd nationally in three-point field goal percentage. And that was before it went 10 for 44. So I haven't checked, but it's in the 200s now after that exhibition.
How can you have an offense that you spent these kids you spent all this money on, and you've built your team? Help me out here. The Ruby Whitehorn crime wave, now that she's off the team, John, was she a great three-point shooter? Was she going to really help that? Was she a marksman from out there?
I didn't think of her that way. I mean, she could shoot threes. All our players are supposed to be able to shoot threes, but there's a difference in shooting threes and shooting threes well.
Griff, give me some numbers on the Lady Vols here and what we're seeing.
Well, just to add on to what John said, I looked this up. Lady Vols are shooting a little less than 30% from the three-point line. They're 12th in the SEC. 12th in the SEC in field goal percentage at 40%, which is really bad. When you look at these numbers, you would never think that Tennessee had the record. So actually, I think they're very fortunate for the wins they do have. Maybe a part of it's scheduling, but this does not look like a top 25 team to me, especially when you look at in the SEC, they're averaging 15 turnovers a game, which is very frustrating on my part. When I watch a game, I see a lot of bad turnovers. And to me, that's a mental focus. And you can talk about this hockey substitutions all you want, 4 or 5 ladies in, which I don't agree with. I will never agree with that. I don't care if she wins a championship. I just think it's bad for basketball. And matter of fact, long term, any coach in the SEC would love to recruit against that type of style, because you could say, hey, come here. I'm not going to take you out after 2 possessions. You're going to play. You earn it. You're going to play. You're not going to come out after 2 possessions. There's just no excuse for that to me. But the biggest for me was fouls. They average 18 fouls a game, 14th in the SEC. Now, what does this mean as far as fouls? When you're averaging 18 fouls a game, it tells me you're not moving your feet. It also alters the game going back to free throw line, gives your opponent a quicker time to get to the foul line, to make adjustments, to regroup, to get easy points. And also fouls a lot of times goes back to me saying you're lazy, you're reaching, you shouldn't be reaching. You move your feet, stay between the ball and the basket. It just shows me a lot of laziness. And I think it's been depicted by the eyeball test as well as stats.
Mark, when you talk about more fouls with them, since she's playing 11 people, do you think they're less concerned about fouls because you don't get into foul trouble? And so she wants to be aggressive defensively, and sometimes being aggressive lends itself to more fouls. Is that possible?
I think it's possible, but at the same time, it still goes back to you can be aggressive and not foul as much, because they're critical fouls that are sending your opponents to the free throw line for the close games, not the 40-point blowouts or the 30. I mean, take those stats out. But you've got to have the discipline in you to not have so many fouls. It's like turnovers in a sense. You've got to be able to take care of the ball. You've got to manage the game, and those are controllables for the most part. I mean, you're going to have some fouls. You're going to get a bad whistle here and there, and you're right. They do have a lot of depth, but it's just unnecessary. It stops the flow of the game, and one thing that seems like a signature event for Coach Caldwell's team is pace. They want to get up and down the court. They want to shoot the threes, which is fine. 40-something's a little too much, but maybe that's a one-off, little asterisk. But for the Lady Vols, and from my viewpoint, to be successful, they've got to run. They're not going to be successful in a half-court game, which goes back to the tournament. Are points going to increase in the tournament? Or are they going to decrease? They're going to be harder to get, which is a disadvantage for this team.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Mark, in the women's game, once you get below that top tier, what Tennessee does can work, because it does have talent, it does have athleticism, it has some players who can really get up and down the court when they're motivated. So when you get into you can still get to the Sweet 16. You're looking at these stats and saying this doesn't look like a top 25 team, and you're right, it doesn't. But in women's play, with as much talent as Tennessee has, it can beat a top 25 team playing the way it does. It did that. It beat Georgia. It beat Alabama. But when you get to that second weekend of the tournament, you're going to run into a team perhaps like South Carolina.
It's really an interesting thing. Matt said earlier.
I think you're right.
Well, how about this, Mark? This is a really insightful comment. And Mark, before you were jumping on here with us, you commented to me you loved like Matt's some of Matt's insight, and Matt came up with a really interesting thing, which is both Kentucky and Tennessee, Kentucky men on the men's side and Tennessee on the women's side, spent a ton of money, and they both have real roster issues. They both have teams that don't seem like they play the way they want to play, or the players don't fit the way they want to play. John, what was that three-point shooting thing again? There's just no way.
192nd nationally, but it's got to be over 200 now.
Where should they, if they're cooking like they want to cook and playing the way she wants to cook, where should that three-point shooting percentage be?
I would say around.
If they're going to be upper echelon, like that's what they're paying. That's a top 5 payroll in the deal.
I mean, you should at least be shooting 35%, don't you think, Mark?
Well, and Kentucky's tracking guys to be a 7 or 8 seed in the tournament. Kentucky is You look at their schedule, you look at where they are, you look at their RPI right now. They are tracking to be a 7 or 8 seed, spending $21 million. That seems like it's almost impossible to do that.
Yeah, but again, I said I'm not as down on Kentucky as you are. I agree with what Mark said earlier. At the first of the year, when I watched Kentucky fall behind a bad LSU team by 18 points at Pete Maravich Assembling Center, I thought, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this a Kentucky team with less talent since back when Rick Pitino took over the program and they were on probation and didn't have players. He turned them around quickly, of course. But even Kentucky's lesser teams, there was a guy on there that just jumped out at you. But Owe wasn't playing great at that time either. And then all of a sudden, he starts playing great. Aberdeen wasn't playing well to start the season. He's playing better now.
They had to hand them the ball. They have no choice now at point guard.
Well,
So
that's another thing.
And that's another thing that changed.
If they hadn't lost, was it Jalen Love?
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like when Owe wasn't playing that great early in the year, I thought Love was Kentucky's best player. If you put him with that team now, that team could make the Elite Eight.
We're going to, on the other side, ask a question, and it's where can Rick Barnes' guys grow from here? Now, a listener has an idea that I'm going to throw at Griff, and I'm going to put it out here so Griff has a chance to think about it. And Matt and Brian Hartman. Brian Hartman is locked in, ladies and gentlemen, to this curling match. I have no other way of saying it. I don't want to spoil it at home for anybody listening, but we're in the third end. And, boy, the U.S. just missed a great chance.
I just got a text.
I love the Corys, though.
I just got a text from my wife. She says, nobody cares about curling.
To raise the production level of our offense, Barnes must move Gillespie to the 2. Put Boswell and Henderson at the 1. Leave Ament at the 3 where he's a matchup problem. It's the only way to get 50-plus points from the starting 1 to 3. One will get between 10 and 14 if you use those two guys, Boswell and Henderson. The 2 to 3 will get a combined 40-plus. And there's no reason our 4 and 5 guys can't get 25 to 35 from there. And I'm going to ask you guys if that could be a solution going forward as we continue. Can you take a combination of, or let Ament start handling the ball more out top? The other night, Kentucky essentially took our point guard away. That's what they did. You go back and look at the game. In fact, they took both those guys away. We're going to take a brief timeout and come back. Again, Ken Palm in 2 days. Double Knockout's a great site. You know him from the Ken Palm Hoops, but Ken Palm's a curling enthusiast. We'll come back on the other side. John Adams is presented by the great Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. She of Keller Williams. Don't you dare buy, sell, or trade a home without her expertise on your side. 6 on your side, Don Dare. Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare with Jennifer Morris. You better have her on your side. Brief timeout. We continue with more as we roll it back. Mark Griffin in the house. We'll talk about ways this team can improve from here and get more, because right now they're a 2-man team and eminently guardable. So we continue with more after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dos with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey Tony, good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest, finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
Bradley's and your Tony Basilio show are a Knoxville tradition. And these days, just like Tony B's show has taken off like a rocket ship, so have my friends at Bradley's. Sure, they still have all the delicious chocolate you're used to, like the chocolate-covered popcorn in the assortment boxes. They're now called Bradley's Gift and Home, and they have so much more than chocolate. Bradley's Gift and Home has all kinds of amazing curated gifts, jewelry, candles, and other for her gift items that will keep you from having to go anywhere else. Guys, trust me, as Basilio would say, Bradley's Gift and Home have taken it to the next level. And remember, Bradley's will have freshly dipped chocolate-covered strawberries in milk and white chocolate at both of their locations, 141 North Beaters Road and 138 Biddle Farms Boulevard in Farragut next to Tupelo Honey. Strawberries available February 13th and 14th. See you at Bradley's Bradley's Gift and Home. See our website, shopbradleys.com.
A great discussion breaking out here during our timeout regarding the depth of the SEC and the viability of these teams in the NCAA tournament. Perhaps we'll get to that because, Brian, we have a guest coming up in our overtime segment who's going to share a few thoughts on Mississippi State tomorrow night, a 9 Eastern start. Great for the Night Owls. Some midnight madness, a midnight rendezvous between all of us tomorrow evening. It's going to be outstanding. Brian?
Yeah, it's Landon Tucker. Excuse me, I thought you already said his name.
No.
MyDogPodcast.com.
Yeah, we've had Landon on. He was very memorable when we had him on back in the fall, so I'm looking forward to talking to Landon Tucker.
Yeah, I remember.
John commented to me after we had him on. We had a conversation about him. So see what we were talking about in the third hour. Back to Mark Griffin. We're doing the Lunchy Bunch here. It's our Happy Time Hoops Hour, and I'm always happy to talk hoops with Griff, who also pitched at the University of Tennessee, by the way, and he loves the baseball. So
Mark pitched?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mark
That's how bad we were. That's how bad Tennessee was,
I was
back
there
in the day, John.
I was there
on
that Sunday afternoon. He struck out Frank Thomas. I was there.
You struck out Frank Thomas?
After he hit 2 home runs off our previous pitchers, yes. And I pointed at him, which you don't do in baseball, but I was so hyped that I didn't care. I pointed at him. I said, "Sit down." And both benches erupted and laughed because they were winning like 11-3.
I got a baseball Hall of Famer.
Did you throw your arms up in the air after you struck him out?
No, he pointed at him and told him to sit down.
I
was
pointed
there.
At him.
It was a sunny Sunday afternoon. There was about 50, there was about 50 people there, which Griff will tell you. Frank Thomas hit a ball to left field that day for a point of reference that went over the road and was still rising when it went off into the sunset, cleared the tree line, had to land over the railroad tracks, Griff. Literally one of the hardest hit balls in the history of mankind. Am I lying, Griff?
No. Mark Connor was our coach, the Yankees bullpen coach back in the day.
Yep.
That they hired, and we're not good. Nothing like it is now. So appreciate baseball now, but it was an honor to put the uniform on and push those guys. Had some great time with baseball guys. Played. Greg McMichael was the star player that went on for the to be with the World Series Braves. Started off with Cleveland, Knoxville native.
Yep.
And other great guys. Great memories with those guys for one season. And
who was the best?
It was after my junior year, and I thought I'm not going to do it my senior year, obviously, because of basketball.
Greg McMichael's brother gave me a colonoscopy one time.
Nobody cares about that. Who was the best basketball player you ever played against?
Best basketball?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Chris Jackson.
The one that at the time was the center from Michigan, and I can't think of his name, played for Dallas.
Roy Tarpley.
He got run out of basketball because he had a drug problem.
Roy Tarpley.
Roy Tarpley was the most intimidating player. The best player.
You got a Hall of Fame. You struck out a Hall of Fame baseball player. Did you make a three-pointer against a Hall of Fame basketball player?
John, you don't understand. He struck out a baseball player that hit 2 balls that day. The last one he hit, I am not lying. The way they talk about Jim Thorpe, like the things you hear about him, that he could throw a ball 100 yards and then run under it. Hey, Matt Dixon, I wish if we could teleport you back in the time, because none of those games were on. None of these highlights exist. Matt, that ball was hit so hard that the 50 or so people that were there were oohing and ahhing, and they stood up and cheered for him when he was running around the bases. That's how hard it was hit.
John, this is so long ago. This was pre-lanyards. So we didn't have lanyards back then, like they do in all the basketball games now.
Hey, Griff, you saw. I promised you'd do a review since we're here now. Before we get back into serious things, Griff, you went to a basketball game with a lanyard. Give us a quick review of that experience, please. And I want to shout out.
Absolutely miserable. I don't know why you give someone a lanyard, put this thing around your neck so you can say, "Ooh, I spent a lot of money on my tickets. I have a certain section, and you're not allowed in it." That's how you feel. And then if you have to go to the bathroom, God willing, like I did, and I put my lanyard in my back pocket because I didn't want to be one of those guys. Of course, the walkie-talkie guy stopped me and says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I got to go to the bathroom." He goes, "Oh, you must wear your lanyard at all times." And I'm like, "Is that in the back of the lanyard? I mean, is there a description of how we're to wear these?" I didn't know. So it's just, I think it's silly. I see people wearing these lanyards walking around. I think it's the dumbest thing on earth. I mean, I don't know. Do they have a student that creates lanyards? Do they sell lanyards on the street? I mean, do they have like ticket scalpers? Do you have lanyard scalpers where you can get one and move into the seats? It's crazy.
I have a lot of lanyards. I have a lot of Super Bowl lanyards.
Pretty next level.
Your media. But your media I get, because you have to be like, "Ooh, I'm media, let me through."
But Mark, let's get back to this though. Here you struck out. I'm trying to build a resume here. You struck out Frank Thomas, a Hall of Fame baseball player.
Hey guys, to raise the level of our production on offense, this is sent to me by a listener. Barnes has to move Gillespie to the 2, Boswell and Henderson to the 1. And Ament to the 3. Matt Disk, can I start with you, who wrote a great report today? Pop some holes in that theory if you can.
Well, I just don't think those other 2 guys are good enough to be point guards. At least not kind of full time. I mean, Boswell's turnover numbers are really high, and that's as an off guard. Henderson, we just haven't seen enough of. I do think you need to play Gillespie on the wing some to get him some shots and open some things up for him, and to give him a little bit of a breather at times. But you can't do it full time. You just have to kind of steal minutes here and there doing it because he's the only guy that can really run your offense and be the point guard. You just don't have another option there.
So
were they counting on Ethan Berg and Abrams to spell him some, because that hasn't worked out at all? I hope they weren't. I guess they must have been.
Oh, it's the two-guard thing is a real. Is that the irritant mark here? Is that going to be the fly in the ointment that ultimately will be the thing that kind of keeps this season from going as far as it would with this prodigy we have, who's living up to it, by the way? Rick Barnes was 1,000% right about this guy. That's what he was. 1,000% right about Nate Ament. He is blowing the doors off of it right now, Ament is. And it's sad because he is getting very little help. The other night, he was like a one-man team in the second half. Go ahead, Griff.
And I saw that preseason, all the practices I went to. I mean, he was at that point. It just wasn't being displayed for multiple reasons. I think a lot of it was mental. And John, you heard yesterday, and I actually agree with Barnes, him getting a bad whistle, which sounds like, you're complaining, but he's got the evidence with film that they watch every day, so they can support that. They even Barnes even commented yesterday. He was on the phone with the director of officials about this issue. So, I mean, it's more than just talk. But one great point about the scenario you're talking about is getting some point guard help. Even with Ament playing so well, I still go back to scouting. As an opposing coach, you'll even say to your teams, like, look, he may get his. That's fine. Just don't get too much, but he may get his so-called average. Just don't let him exploit you to a degree. But we're going to spend extra time shutting down or trying to contain, especially their secondary scorer, which is Gillespie. And then we're not going to let other people surprise us. Because you can't stop everything, but you rule out the best you can, the primary target, and that's Ament.
Matt, is there anything that we're missing?
If you can't rule them out, you try to neutralize them, but then you try to shut down others. And that's a concern, because that's why, I mean, I would, speaking of Sweet 16 for the Lady Vols, I would love, I think it would be a very successful season if Tennessee makes it to the Sweet 16, which right now, I don't know. I'm concerned them getting out the first weekend because they don't have that third score that is consistent, and it's by committee. But how long during a game do you ride one player to go, it's not working, I got to bring in another player? How long are we going to give him to turn it around? And that's a major concern.
What if you could get high 20s out of both Ament and Gillespie in the tournament?
You're going to have to get high 20s. And then on top of that, speaking of defense, that's with consistent defense. And I think that's where it's going to turn, and we haven't talked about. We could talk about scoring tons of points. You'll see point average drop, 5 to 10 points per game over the tournament. The defense is going to have to be extra steady or even better, and even improve communication and movement. Because if their defense lets up, they don't have a shot. So that's going to have to be on point. And it has been for the most part, but it's really going to have to be on point, because they just don't have that third or tertiary score. They don't.
So really, Tennessee's failing occurred in the offseason when it didn't get that extra.
Just like Kentucky's, just like that Lady Vol team we were talking about earlier. And the problem is, and Nick Saban said it, you can buy all you want, but you better buy the right players. And he got out of it because he didn't want to be bothered with it, which makes sense. But now that you haven't bought the wrong players, Matt, are there any potential solutions that you see between now and then? Room to grow in this deal? Or do you have what you have here?
For the most part, you have what you have. There could be a game where, kind of like at Arkansas, where Amari Evans, has a really good game and gets you, 9 or 12 points or something. That's certainly possible. I guess you could have Boswell make a couple of shots, like make some threes. He's got really good numbers from outside. If he hits a couple of threes for you in a game, I mean, that's 6 points that could decide a game. I mean, I think it's just something like that. I mean, could Dwayne Brown or somebody have a decent game inside and give you 15? I guess. Maybe by committee, your big could do that. But
maybe it's going to take.
You are who you are.
Maybe it's going to take like when Pearl was here and they beat UConn down in Birmingham, and Chill came off the bench. Childress, who's listening to us, who lives in Maryville, came off the bench and hit 3 balls. That's the kind of stuff that you don't see in March. That's the kind of stuff that happens in postseason sports. It's your role players. That's the reason in baseball. It's the reason you go far in baseball. It's the role players. Marky Mark, hang right there. We got to do a legal, and then we'll stay right here in overtime.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Okay, over on YouTube, Dave's off his meds today. Hey, Dave, you're off your meds. And as we say in Italiano, Dave, meds are meds. I think you're a little nutty, if you want my opinion. Hey, Griff, what about that? What about that day that Chile hit 3 balls and shot us through a round? That kind of stuff, that wasn't against UConn. Who was that game against, Matt? You remember that Sunday afternoon game?
Butler.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good Butler program at the time.
Make sure the line 4 is clear, Tone. Guest is trying to call.
All right. Pretty good.
It was Butler in overtime, coached by Brad Stevens.
That's the kind of stuff, guys, we need. That's the kind of stuff we need here. And, Griff, there's no reason it can't happen. Because you've got two excellent players. Two excellent players. Which I love, by the way. I mean, the way Ament's playing, John, he could carry you in March.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen in a lot of NCAA tournaments where one guy, who was the guy at UConn? I won a pool because of them winning it. Kalimba Edwards?
Kalimba Edwards, yep.
He carried that team through the Big East tournament.
Kemba Walker.
Who is Kalimba Edwards?
Yeah.
Who is that, Bri?
It's somebody.
You got me.
I love the Kalimba.
Now I bet there is a Kalimba Edwards.
So there's an old reggae tune about the Kalimba. Might be a Bob Marley song. Have you ever seen a kalimba, the African instrument, the kalimba?
Tony?
Yes.
Let's get back on point here.
All right, let's bring, without further ado, in. And Marky Mark, hang out with us for this.
Yeah, sure.
Landon Tucker now joins. He's with Dogs Pod, DAWGSPOD. Landon Tucker, I bring you in against the backdrop that it's good to talk to you. And Kalimba Edwards played at the University of South Carolina. He is 46 years of age, and he does exist. And John Adams is correct. So we've all been taken under wing here. But he was thinking of Kemba Walker. Landon Tucker, welcome in. How you doing? Hello, Landon Tucker.
Tony, this is Dave.
Landon Tucker.
We got to have line 4 clear.
Yeah,
so
Brian, get Landon Tucker in. Get Landon Tucker in. I mean, what are we doing here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls?
Line 4 has to be clear.
All right,
Brian.
All right, hang on. Yeah, so, Griff, this team still has a high gear they could hit, don't they?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of upside to the rest of the season, and John talked about a lot of it off the air during the commercial break. You look at the schedule, it's favorable to Tennessee moving forward, and it gives Barnes and the players ample opportunity to get experience with some of these substitution patterns, certain guys gaining extra confidence, getting extra minutes. especially looking at practice time and how they fare to earn their time on the court to build up towards the postseason SEC tournament and going into the NCAA tournament. So there's a lot of upside, but for Tennessee to advance, you have to have that third player. You just someone's got to step it up. I feel consistently.
Hey, Brian, let that individual know, my best Butch Jones speak, that I had the rollover. I had it turned on so that it was rolling over into our guest line. I've turned it off. That's how Dave got on that thing there. So let him know, please, if you will. But, yeah, I had the rollover line on. So, Dave, that wasn't your fault. I didn't mean to blow you up, but we're trying to clear the line here. My fault. My bad. I'm operator error. Let's now bring our guest in, Landon Tucker, who now joins on the program. He is with dogspondpod.com. Landon, how we doing?
Well, I'll tell you, we're doing great, man. I'm so glad to be back with you, Tony, and with you and Brian and all the guys. I got to tell you, out of all the the Tennessee sports shows, you guys are my favorite. I will say you're the only one that I know personally, but you guys are my favorite.
We were really bragging on you about your memorable appearance you had back in the fall, John and I, earlier. Your thoughts on what, so far in the season, what State has accomplished?
Well, I will tell you, Mississippi State had made the tournament 3 straight years under Chris Jans in his first 3 years. This is his 4th season, and if they get into any sort of postseason play, I'll be very surprised. Mississippi State really just had some missed portal evaluations, which we've actually seen with a couple different SEC teams in the conference, and it's really hurt them because, I mean, of course, Tennessee fans are familiar with Josh Hubbard, but outside of Josh Hubbard, there's really some key pieces that State seemed to whiff on, and so now that they're kind of trying to see who they can build this team around. Even if Josh Hubbard returns next season, because some of the pieces just have not worked.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, and we've had this discussion. People are doing this in all these markets now. They're going, we paid this guy this, and we paid this guy that. Hey, Griff, the bottom line is when we're doing pickup basketball, which is what we're doing now, we're going to have incomplete basketball teams. And some years you're going to scratch your lottery tickets and they're going to hit. And some years, Griff, they're not going to hit at all.
No, you're right. I mean, it is a roll of the dice. And I was a little surprised to see Jans take a step backwards this season. I don't know about their identity outside of Hubbard. I don't know anyone on this squad. It looks like Jaden Epps has been a pretty significant player, but as far as recruiting and maybe mistakes, it looks like their inside game has not progressed at all this season, and that's one of the strengths to Tennessee, and that's one thing I'll really be looking at because Hubbard's going to get his shots. I mean, he's leading the SEC in three-point attempts, and it goes back to, okay, if Hubbard gets to hear from your caller, what do they have on the inside to offset some of their perimeter play that's been consistent?
Landon Tucker, is there anything they can do to offset inside to help Hubbard?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so for fans who are unfamiliar kind of with other players there, the other guys on the inside, or a guy who is on the inside is Quincy Ballard, who is a really great size mismatch, 7 feet, about 270. The other guy is Jamarion Davis Fleming, who's a true freshman, who's a player, number 1 player in Mississippi last season. Both players are inside, but Ballard is one of those guys that has kind of thus far not lived up to what State thought. And so that's where you would assume, okay, if Hubbard cannot get it going, maybe they can bounce to the inside to Jamarion Davis Fleming or go to Quincy Ballard. But really neither of those guys have taken off. And so State is at a point where they're really, really searching. You'll see it tomorrow night. After Josh Hubbard gets the ball and he looks to kind of screen off, Griff just mentioned Jaden Epps. He's a shooting guard from Georgetown who's kind of been inconsistent, but also has been a 20-point a game scorer in a couple of SEC games. But they kind of look lost out there because there's not a real dominant guy they can go to on the inside. I think Tennessee fans will notice that tomorrow.
Mississippi State 13th in the SEC standings coming into tomorrow night. It's a 9 o'clock start, which is a weird thing for Tennessee to have to play at that hour. What kind of crowd can we expect to be on hand for this game?
That's a great question. Well, Mississippi State baseball opens this weekend, so I would assume Thursday in Starkville will be a little bit more packed than Wednesday will. It has not been remarkable crowds because, as you can imagine, having the amount of, or I guess lack of success rather, doesn't generate a ton of excitement for people to be there. But, of course, the other side of that is Tennessee is a team that state fans would probably travel to be able to see a higher quality opponent. I mean, Tennessee's tied fifth in the SEC with some impressive wins and good play. So I would not expect the crowd in the hump to be something that really affects the game, as unfortunate as that is for Mississippi State fans. The biggest question is, can Tennessee find a way to neutralize or at least kind of keep in check Josh Hubbard? And then the other side of that is, can Mississippi State find a second-tier player like a Jaden Epps or a Jamarion Davis-Fleming on the inside? If they can find a way to find a second person, they could pull a crazy, crazy upset. But I just tell you, thus far, that's not something that I think is going to happen tomorrow night.
Land, is there a concern with Mississippi State about the possibility of losing Hubbard after this season to the portal?
Yeah, at the past couple of seasons, it's been a question because, of course, who does not want a guy who can score the way he scores. The question is, if that is to happen, I think there's a couple of concerns. Josh Hubbard has tested the NBA waters each year, but to me, it's just a size thing. I don't think that's going to be a real possibility this season. And then the other part is, what team would teams will pay him, but I don't know if it'll be the exact same type of role because, as you guys mentioned, I mean, he shoots the ball a ton, and State needs him to do that. But if he goes to another team, he might not have to shoot it as much, which he might like because it could be more efficient. But in the other sense, it's got to be kind of nice to be able to have the keys to an SEC team and say, okay, shoot as much as you want.
Hey, Griff, question for you. As we're joined today by a gentleman that we're blessed to have, Landon Tucker, Dogs Pod, and I encourage you to check him out. Hey, Griff, when you're playing in a gym and it's sparsely attended, as this game's going to be, you have to generate your own juice at times as a road team. Road teams feed off the being hated. Like when you're in front of a studio audience sometimes, I've been told it's kind of a surreal environment to sort of play in. If you can, do you think that's accurate? Do you think that's true or no?
Oh, I definitely think it's true. And not to knock on Mississippi State and Landon, but I'll reflect years ago. We went down to Starkville, and there just weren't a lot of people there. And you're like, oh, my God, they don't love basketball here. And that's where you really kind of psych yourself up with your teammates. You have those conversations like they don't even care. Their fans aren't here. If they're not going to support them, then let's take them out with what they've got. And those are conversations that a lot of players do have when they're on the road and it's not really hyped. You make those comments. I know that I've heard several former athletes discuss this topic where when it wasn't jam-packed, they would make comments to each other like the lack of caring and, look, we can't let this team beat us. They don't even care about their fans don't even care about the team. So you generate your own excitement. And what's really odd is like Landon said about maybe Tennessee fans attending the game, you really do hear the Tennessee faithful in the crowd, even if it's 100 or 200.
That's right.
You pick that up, and it's like an extra motivator. It's like, heck, our own crowd's louder than theirs. They've got 4,000, and we've got 100. Let's play for that 100. And you do have those little internal conversations or even talks to yourself.
It's such a weird thing. Like, I remember a couple years ago, Tennessee played a game at Missouri, and they seemed all out of sorts. And then I was talking to Tony Vitello about that. They played up at Kentucky. That one year, Matt, you went up there and they got swept, and there was like 100 Kentucky fans there. Do you remember that, Matt? How it was just like out of nowhere? And Tony said,
Yeah,
man, when
the
you're
2022 season, they actually they won the last game, but they lost the first two, and it was one of those Thursday starts, and it was like raining and cold, and it was just awful to play in. But yes, that happened.
Tony said it felt like a high school crowd. He said it's so odd to have to create your own energy. That's how he put it. Landon, how many people you think are there tomorrow night? What's a crowd look like?
Oh, that's a great question.
5,000, 6,000.
Yeah, I'd put it somewhere right in the 5,000, maybe 5,500 range. Tennessee having the name value helps out a lot. I mean, regardless of how your team is playing. Josh Hubbard is an exciting player, so there will be fans there for that. And then B, you have a chance of having a very highly ranked SEC team come in. There will be fans there, but I think what your crew has mentioned about kind of generating your own juice for Tennessee is a very, very good point. One I guess, kind of big distinction that we've seen that's kind of different with this Bulldog team than teams of the past. We've known defense has kind of been the name of the game for Chris Jans. It's kind of part of his identity. State kind of lacks the size inside, and so as I was kind of reviewing this game for our show this week, I looked at Tennessee has an opportunity to really, really take advantage of that. And so it actually is kind of a gut check for Mississippi State, as I mentioned on our show. This could be a complete mismatch when it comes to Tennessee and State.
Hey, Griff, when you're preparing the Griff's three-pointers, is this one of these games where there could be a chance for Ament to really go off and crack that 30-point mark?
Well, definitely. And what I look at, too, is who's, as far as pairing players against each other, who's on Mississippi State, that team that's going to match up with him. And I don't know the personnel, obviously, like Landon does.
Yeah.
But it could be a huge mismatch in Tennessee's favor because, who is their glue guy that's going to, step up and guard Ament. But I also want to mention, because I don't know how much I'll get to talk about, I love this Josh Hubbard player. He's one of my favorite in the conference. And I'll tell you why. He probably has, and I know, Landon, you've heard this ad nauseum, the highest vertical for a jump shooter in the country. I've not seen a guy that could take a 2-dribble jump shot and get as high as he can. They list him at 6 feet. I don't know if that's true, but he really powers his shot highly in the air. And for us old school guys, who he reminds me, and Tony, you'll get a kick out of this is he's like Vinnie Johnson.
Let's go.
From back in the day with the Pistons.
The
he
microwave.
Reminds me so much of Vinnie Johnson.
The microwave. Hey, Landon, you got to go. How do folks reach out to you? How do they talk to you? You've been incredible today.
Yeah, man, well, as always, I really appreciate you guys for being here. Please be safe if you guys are traveling down to the game. But, yeah, we're My Dogs Pod on the MPW Digital Network. And you can follow us on Twitter. It's just at My Dogs Pod. TikTok's the exact same thing. I did want to tell you before I go, in referencing this show, I accidentally called you Tony Vitello initially, and then I caught myself afterwards, fixing that up, thinking about the University of Tennessee. It must be kind of a handsome thing. You guys both kind of look maybe similar. Is that why?
Well, all of us Italians look the same. I had a gentleman last year. We were playing a gig. It was 1 year ago, in fact. Tennessee's first. It was like the first weekend of play. He said, how's your son doing? And I thought he knew my son, who's 26 years old, who lives in town. And he said, and I said, he's doing great. We're proud of him, blah, 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 blah. And he says, well, I'm just really glad that he's back and we have baseball season again. He thought Tony Vitello was my son. So
see, there you go. It's just like looking in the mirror. I'll say this, and then I got to run. I appreciate you guys so much for your time. Tomorrow night, the one thing I would watch out when you mention Tennessee's big man down low is Event. How do you say his last name?
Oh, Ament. Yeah.
Ament. Okay, gotcha. Jamarion Davis-Fleming's Mississippi State's center, but kind of a leaner guy. I expect him or a guy named Achor to match up with him. Both of those guys have I would just say the best chance of being able to keep up with him on the floor. The last guy, Quincy Ballard, is a much thicker guy down low. And that is a guy that might be a mismatch because of kind of the pick and pop potential. He just does not have that speed to kind of close out. So very interested to watch that matchup tomorrow night. And again, hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for giving me some of your time.
Thank you, brother. Hey, thank you for giving us some of your time. And a chore, Griff's going to have a chore, I would say.
Yes, I believe he transferred from Samford in buckyball, and he's from Australia.
A chore. I would not have guessed a chore. And tomorrow night's game sounds like a bore, doesn't it, John? That sounds like a snooze a wiener, boy. Hey, I'll tell you what.
Hey, Tony, I got one for you. You know me, I love stats, but only love stats when they're applicable because, people get caught up in the numbers and you forget the eyeball test. That's where I'm a little concerned with analytics. But it's going to be some clanking going on tomorrow night. Mississippi State, you think Tennessee shoots badly from the free throw line, which they're 14th in the SEC, under 70%. Mississippi State's worse. They're 15th in the SEC in free throw shooting at 68%. So there's going to be a lot of clanking going on in whatever they call the hump tomorrow night.
Really stupid question for everybody assembled. How in the hell can a college basketball player not be able to make a foul shot?
Well,
there's no excuse for that. I'm sorry.
I can answer that easily. If you don't mind, John.
No, I don't.
You practice what you feel is important. You focus on what you think is important. And one of the least things that are being focused on in overall practice times and off season, and guys don't do it, is free throws. You work on everything else. Jump stop, you work on crossover, you name it, Euro move. Guys don't like to work on free throws.
But that's so important. Did they want to be the one that cost their team making the Final Four by missing 2 free throws in the last 3 seconds?
I agree.
By the way, panel, we've had so many NCAA tournament wins around here, and we're so spoiled that Chile's explosion actually, guys, happened against Virginia. Brian? Not Butler.
Well, you said Birmingham, and they played Butler in Birmingham.
Brian, you're counting on me for facts from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
John, would you take your cues from me when it comes to like my memory of a sporting event from 20 years ago?
No, if you mention names or numbers, I just kind of zone out.
Yeah, the Vinnie Johnson thing, the microwave, I got that.
That was
good.
Pull.
That's a good pull.
Didn't he play at Baylor?
Now, see, I don't know that. Is Dave going to call in? Dave, just a preview, Matt, of his call. Jans will shut down Ament. If Barnes loses to Mississippi State, he should be fired in the handshake line. I love me some nega, Dave. Hubbard is a volume shooter. He'll probably go for 40 on us tomorrow night.
Fine.
Mississippi State is not spending the money that Tennessee spends. Please stop. I just got 3-2-1'd, he said. Negative.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
As far as SEC arenas or coliseums or gyms, I don't know if they still call it the hump or not.
The Humpty Hump.
To me, it's got to be the worst in the SEC, if not one of the worst. It's a horrible place to play.
Well, you know what I remember is I was covering a Tennessee game there once. This is during the Pearl era. And they were shooting in warm-ups, and I remembered there were like 4 or 5 Mississippi State fans down there heckling the team in warm-ups. Very impressive heckling. And there was a security guard standing by them just kind of smiling. They had some good hecklers back in the day, and maybe they've this generation doesn't deliver in the same vein.
Another glorious negative, Gillespie is point shaving from earlier in today's show. I mean, this guy is off his meds. Meds.
If you could guess,
yeah,
how many players do you think could be point shaving in the SEC? Do you think anybody is?
You know what we're all doing? We're all pausing for a moment of silence. You know why? We're all afraid of what the answer is. Griff, these kids have grown up with legalized, normalized gambling. When we were kids, it was thought to be a seedy deal, and now it's not.
They've got money.
No, and then you had the recent investigation that just went down not long ago, and how many programs, like 13 or something, that were involved, and the scary thing, and we used to talk about this, Tony. It's like when Tennessee had success in football, it always made us nervous because it's like NCAA is going to look into it. They're going to make sure everything's above board. If NCAA steps on campus, they're going to find something. And I think it's the same way with gambling issues. If they look into any program, like the NCAA doesn't have anything to do, but if they were to look into any program, you're going to find stuff. I think not every program, but I think you definitely open up the opportunity for a higher percent when you look into various programs.
They don't want to know. The truth is,
well, no, they don't.
Nobody wants to know,
and they don't have the enforcement power. They don't have the manpower they once did. Don't worry about the NCAA.
I don't.
You worry about the FBI.
I don't want to know. But here's the thing.
No,
my friends over at VIP Play want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, there is a terrific full slate of college ball tonight. There's some interesting stuff in the SEC. There's great Olympic stuff that you can get involved with. There's the men's hockey tournaments getting ready to begin. There's a women's game with Canada tomorrow that's going to be a brawl for it all in the medal round. And you could have had some action right now on this that I'm watching because we're in the seventh end. Sweden and the United States are in the middle of a classic here as Corey, one of the best sweeper in the world, just did some absolute stick magic. The two Coreys, but it is a great sport.
I can't imagine anybody they're showing the crowd.
Christian Lundy's having a watch party at his place right now watching that. Loves it. Literally one of his favorite sports. Literally has about 20 people over at his place watch party. Corey Dropkin he's the best sweeper in the world. And she's the best thrower, the other Corey. That's an incredible team. And both teams will have a power play here down the stretch to use. This is going to be a really interesting. Who has the hammer in the 10th? Matt, do you know? Who has the hammer here, Matt, down the stretch?
I don't have it on, Tony. I'm not watching it.
Go claim your.
I don't know.
Go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. Bet $20, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Live always, 200+ leagues, numerous bet types, props, options. My friends over at VIP Play will treat you like a VIP because everybody gets treated like a VIP over at VIP Play. Brian, what did you think of me having auto attend on and the rollover line engaged and Dave, who, if he calls back in, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give chocolate-covered strawberries to, Bri, because I blew him up.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that there was a rollover to the guest line.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry for that.
I never realized that, so I learned something.
I had it on the auto attend. There's another button up here.
But I'm not surprised it could eventually make things difficult, which it did. More difficult than they needed to be.
Dr. Z DDS said, take it from Tony's takes on women's basketball. Just because you aren't watching doesn't mean you can't have a take, Matt. How about that, Matt? Dr. Z going in on me, Matt. How about him ripping me, Matt?
It's a thought I've had plenty of times.
Well, to you and Dr.
Hey,
Z.
Tony, when's the last time you spent this much airtime talking Lady Vols ever in your career? Let's face it.
Got to do something pretty extraordinary for that to happen.
I'd say, Griff, somebody standing up there and saying, yesterday's game wasn't my fault at all. My team's a bunch of quitters. I'd say that's pretty strong, Griff. What do you think?
It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Some things I think you kind of say for yourself, and plus I look at the environment where the interview was. It wasn't like this was Greg Popovich between the first and second quarter, which I loved his interviews, because no coach wants to be interviewed during a game, period, ever, end of sentence. But I mean, she had time to put that together, and and if I'm a player, I'm questioning my coach. Now, she'll spin it to her team, obviously, but that's a tough pill to swallow as a player. But she's trying to do anything she can on her end to motivate these young ladies. So I get it. It just bad timing and not the right stage.
Yeah, I find the state of what she's doing, Brian. The last year when they decided to fire Kelly Jolly, who's not so jolly at Missouri right now. How does Kelly Jolly keep getting jobs, John? How many spots does she have?
Speaking of, they come to town Thursday night.
How many jobs does she have to not be able to coach at before she quits getting jobs, John?
Well,
what's the number?
This will be her last major job.
I know she's like nice looking or whatever.
She's good on the mid-major level. She's done really well.
She's done really well on the mid-major level, and she's got a really nice personality. She's very high likability. If you sit down and talk to her, you would like her. I'm sure she interviews well. And so those are all attractions.
And she had a great mentor in Pat Summitt, and you cannot make that you can't downplay what she's learned under the years with Pat Summitt. That I'm sure she passes on to the girls that she recruits, that she wants to instill in them, and that many of these recruits' parents want their kids to get. That cannot be overstated.
Yeah, but it's a long time ago that Pat coached, unfortunately.
People are accusing me of punching down. If I wanted to punch down, I talk about the James Pierce thing. I haven't said a word about that on the air.
He had Adam Sparks did a story about he had an incident at Tennessee. He didn't.
John, it's the first time I'm going to say anything about it, okay? Nobody on Tennessee's campus is surprised that those two have had, when they were on Tennessee's campus, everybody was holding their breath.
Who? You said two.
Him and Rakia Jackson, when they were dating here, had a very interesting, let's call it, there was volatility, and there's all kinds of concern around both programs that, hey. So, and I haven't said a word about it. I could have punched down yesterday. I'm not saying a word about it. But the thing with James Pierce, there's a reason, John, that a guy that talented at a premium position fell in that draft. Because usually when you have his physical ability, where are you taking in that NFL draft?
Pretty high.
Yeah. You're taking way on up there. But let's go back to the phones. There's a perception of me, and then there's the truth. The truth is, I talked about the Kelly Harper thing, or Kelly. What's this?
Kim Caldwell's her name. Uh-huh.
I talked about it because I don't ever remember a coach getting beat by 50 points in a sport.
They only lost by 43.
And then standing up there after the game, 1 week after they had the worst beating in the history of an illustrious series. Okay? And then standing up there and going, hey,
yeah,
I want everybody in this room to know something here, okay?
Don't look at me.
Yeah. You see those people over there? They suck. They suck. I'm great. Now,
hey, Tony, I'm going to the game Sunday, and they play Texas, and that could be a beating too, unfortunately.
I would take the over. I'd take the over in that one. Will they play Texas better, John? Will she reach this team? Will they play Texas better?
Well, they're playing at home, so I think they will. I don't see them losing by more than. I'll say
they're going to win the game. Call a shot.
No, I don't see them losing by more than 25.
John, that's horrible.
What?
They're going to win the game.
Say it out loud.
That
home crowd will not let them lose.
What are you talking about?
When they walk on that floor, it's going to be magical on Sunday. What time's the tip, Mark? Prove to me you're going, Mark.
I think it's 3 p.m., but let me double check.
I think it's 6:30 p.m.
3 p.m.
I thought it was 6:30.
3 p.m.
But like Brian said, they play Missouri Day. But I'm not going that game. I'm just saying I'm going to the Texas game, which is a huge game and one of the best players in the country. And I really do like her, Madison Booker.
Yes.
I mean, she's from Mississippi. I don't know how she went to Texas, but unbelievable player.
Coached at Mississippi State. I think that may be part of it.
DDS just said, I want to apologize to everybody involved for getting Tony to talk about Lady Vol basketball again. Well, Dr. Z, you guys are accusing me of punching down. Listen, if I could have talked about James Pierce, because the great Rob Lewis tweeted out the other night, and it is the truth, that there is approximately nobody. I'd like Rob Lewis now. He's on with VolQuest. He's got some truth serum in him. He said nobody is surprised, as in nobody is surprised by that. Hey, Rob, shout out. Let's go back to the phones. Let's get our next call in as John Adams is in here, presented by Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. And Mark Griffin, I mean, he is shining like the sun in the middle of the day. Yay, yay. Hello and welcome in. You're on our overtime.
How are my French compatriots doing today?
Doing great, W. Lynn. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. Her name's Kelly Harper, Tony. That's what she wants to go by. She went to my church. I knew her whole family. She wants to go by Kelly Harper.
What did he
That's
call
okay.
her? What did he
He
call
made
her?
jolly jokes. So, part of the trouble with the Lady Vols game is they're missing a couple of three-point shooters they had that were not that athletic, not that quick, not fast on the getting down and full court press. That's Sarah Puckett and Tess Darby. Those two girls combined hit 4 to 6 3-pointers a game. We don't have anybody like that now. We got athletes, not necessarily shooters. And, you know, if you hit 34% of your threes, that's like hitting 51% of a two. It's a bucket and a half. So you got to hit around 34%, 33 bottom, 30 in a bad game. Anything below that, and you're not going to do too good. But Talisha Cooper, to me, is a cancer on the team. For every 2 points she scores, she gives up 2 to 4 at the other end. She's not a guard. Every time she tries to show off her dribbling ability, she gets the ball stolen. Anytime she throws the ball away or something bad happens, it's not her fault. Just look at her facial expression. Every time there's a call against her, she's looking at the ref. It's bad call while the other team's running down to score. And like I said, for every 2 points she scores, she gives up 2 to 4. She could transfer tomorrow for all I care. The whole rest of the team would rally up in their entire performance.
Oh, W. Lynn coming in hot.
Scorched earth.
Griff, have you ever heard this much Lady Vol conversation in your life?
Not on your show.
And by the way, question for you, John. Talisha Cooper, okay, he's making a lot of money from them.
Talisha Cooper.
Right. Would Dawn Staley let her get off her team if she could play and was a winning player?
Well, I don't know the circumstances of her departure there.
I will help you.
No. It's more than playing. It's more than athletic ability. Let's look at that. It's more than athletic ability.
Called no.
Or she never would have left. I can tell you that right now.
It's called no, Mark. We keep it real around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a transfer portal. Matt makes that point about the transfer portal in football. A lot of times you're taking other people's problems. There's a little accuracy to that.
She is a very talented player.
Yes, but would she be? What Dawn Staley's over there watching her the other day mope and not run back down the other end of the floor like W. Lynn's talking about and going, yeah, that's her. There she is.
Body language.
Yeah.
Screams.
And it affects the whole
Screams.
team. And speaking of Kim Caldwell, Tony, I've heard her in every press conference after a loss, and all the ones previous to this one, she did take responsibility. She said, me and the other coaches have to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that wasn't working, so I think, like John, she's just trying a new tactic. Because they did give up, and I think we're making a mountain out of a molehill about her doing this one time, when in all the other losses she took full responsibility.
Well, she might have gotten that's possible that she's trying a new approach. She's got to make players accountable.
She also said after the Mississippi State game that my team showed up late. W. Lynn, don't cover for her. That's ridiculous. You can't say stuff like that.
Well, I think
she still took responsibility.
She said my team came late to a game. W. Lynn, I've never heard a head coach say that.
Yeah, but she also said in that same conference, I got to do a better job in my coaches.
My team came late? I'd say you better do a better job. My team came late?
Well, she's throwing herself under the bus.
I knew we were losing tonight. My team came late? No offense, but that's not engendering confidence in me. Sorry.
Well, we don't have three-point shooters. We got people throwing a ball at a piece of metal attached to a backboard. And we're going to have to live with that, I'm afraid. Now, our new freshman guard, Paldo, she's our best three-point shooter.
Yeah.
She was, I think, 0 for 9 or 10 against South Carolina.
She's too
low. Yeah, I know. It was terrible.
To play against those teams.
Hey, I got some Mark Griffin baseball stats. You guys want to hear this?
Let me hear some Griff baseball stats. Yep.
Oh, God.
Now, Griff, I've only got you listed in 1988 as pitching some innings. Is that a misprint, or do you think that's right?
I'll say it again. I'm sorry. 88. What?
I've got you pitching 8.2 innings, but you're not listed 86 or 87 in the pitching.
No, I played one season, and that sounds about right. Because older I get, the worse memory I get. But it was one season under Mark Connor.
When they put him out there on that Sunday afternoon, it was the most next level thing I've ever seen in sports, because Griff screamed, as God is my witness, because I was there covering for the school radio station. There was like 50 people there, and he screamed at Frank Thomas. He comes off the mound for striking him out and goes, "Sit down!" Like that to him. Griff, am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I know it's not the thing to do in baseball, and you have unwritten rules. But once again, I was on loan, and I was there, and I told Coach Connor, I said, I'm going to do all I can to get your guys to play at their highest level.
Yeah.
I pushed them as hard as I could, knowing that this was going to be a one-year deal, even though baseball was my number one love growing up, even over basketball. But I grew, and basketball was going to pay for school.
Well, I'm going to have to talk to the sports information department, because this is obviously a misprint.
It's an outrage.
It says we only played at Auburn in '88.
No,
we didn't play him at home.
No, the game was here, trust me. And I appreciate you, W. Lynn, because I'll tell you this right now. Those
could be a typo. I don't know.
Yeah, those 2 home runs are etched inside my mind, as Donald Fagen said in Reelin' in the Years. And then he says, after all the things we've done and seen, you found another man. The things you think are precious, I can't understand. Did you like Steely Dan, John?
No. Did
Mark,
Mark, did you play against Shaquille O'Neal?
Yes, he did.
No, I had graduated. I was at that game, though, where at Thompson Bowl, and this may be what you're referencing or thinking about, when UT and Allen Houston beat LSU with Stanley Roberts, Shaquille O'Neal, and Chris Jackson.
Yeah.
Like 105-92 or something. Maybe Brian knows, but it was in the hundreds for UT. It was one of the best offensive games that I've ever seen in Thompson Bowling ever.
NECA Dave is saying, don't fact check me. Hey, NECA Dave, I'm talking to a guy that was pitching that day, you clown. He knows where the game was. His memory isn't that foggy. I'm telling you right now, Frank Thomas hit a ball to left field. Mark, there have been some titanic shots during the Tony Vitello era, these guys he's gotten. Have any of those guys come close to hitting a ball that looked like that second one that Frank Thomas hit?
No.
Negative.
And Tony, on that, I got to go. On a party note, Tennessee Lady Vols play Missouri. Will Sophie Cunningham be at the game? That's all I want to know.
Sophie Cunningham. Let's go.
She won't be at the game.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Are you a Sophie Cunningham fan?
She's a very good interview. I like her. I
Really?
liked watching her play. Yeah. And she's carved out a new role for herself.
Which
in the
is?
WNBA. She's an enforcer, and she's also fairly attractive.
Yes, she's a very pretty. She's like a glamazon almost. Shout out to our friends at Matt. What do you think of me dropping the term glamazon on John Adams today? Your thoughts on that? Matt Dixon.
I was not expecting that one. That's kind of a new one.
My friends that's what Beth Phoenix was. She was the glamazon. When you watch wrestling, you get some terms. Describe. You're a word tactician, John. They just released a new video. I'm over here on CNN looking at this of the person that's taken Nancy Guthrie captive. For those of you who are so inclined in following this international bizarre story, just a bizarre story. Taking her for ransom. This is some of the creepiest footage you're ever going to see.
It just makes me sick to look at it.
It's so creepy looking.
This guy coming into that 84-year-old woman's
house.
God, you just
he's armed. You can see it. He's armed, and then he sees the camera there, and he goes over and he gets some brush, and he's walking all like humpback. He's got a very, very noticeable gait. They're going to find this guy. They're going to find this guy.
Do you think he's walking an affected gait to throw people off just in case? I don't know.
It's a really good question. It's a really good. Is he that? He took her medicine apparently. This is somebody that knows this family. This is how
tall would you say that person is?
Well, he looks like a big guy right there.
He looks like a big guy.
Yeah, he looks like he's 6'2" or so.
It's really kind of sickening.
It's sickening. It's sad. We'll go back to our phones here. My friends at Bradley's want to remind you. Delicious chocolate-covered popcorn over at Bradley's. They've got you covered. Matt Diskin loves Bradley's. Bry loves Bradley's. I love Bradley's. You're going to love Bradley's. And Nega Dave, if you'll call back today, I'll make you a Bradley's winner. And I got to take another winner as well, a random winner today who can tell me 3 things we talked about today on the show. 3 different just prove that you've listened to today's program because winning pays. No. What's the slogan the old FM stations used to use? The phrase that pays. No. Matt, what am I trying to say here? Listening pays.
Never
What
heard
would the
that.
slogan be, Matt?
I'm not really sure, Tone.
It's probably something about staying power, Tony, because somebody that listens to the whole thing and never leaves, it pays to stick with us.
There you go.
Yeah, because you're just all over the place today, Tone.
Yeah.
Even more than usual.
Bradley's Gift and Home, so much more than chocolate. They're all over the place. Not only do they have the amazing chocolates, they have curated gifts, candle jewelry, other for her gift items that'll keep you from having to go anywhere else. Bradley's Gift and Home absolutely are at the next level. And that video that's out there of this intruder is creepy AF. I hope they catch this sumbitch.
Well, here's the thing.
Hang him.
What about? Yeah, you'd want to just as soon as you see him,
No trial.
Just shoot him.
No, it's unbelievable, Andy.
And so perhaps at a service station, a camera.
Somebody, yep, will catch a guy that looks like him. That's right. That's right. When they put it out there and appeal to the public like that, John, you and I both know that they're probably fairly close to getting this guy, and they're going to ratchet it up now.
Remember the old Mel Gibson movie called Ransom?
Yep.
Gary Sinise was one of the kidnappers. Yep. And remember what he did? I think it was his child had been kidnapped, and this ongoing thing happening, and he gets on national television and says, "We're not paying you anything. I will pay someone that finds you and brings him to me $1 million." He put a bounty on the guy's head. I know it was TV,
right?
But you put $1 million on this guy's head.
Somebody will turn him in.
Somebody's seen this person.
Oh, there's no question. That's sickening. Woman there just living her life just because Savannah Guthrie has some money. And I'll tell you what, that terrorizes that national media at an upper level because copycat crimes are going to happen now.
But this is a mistake, though. As kidnapping you should not get a high-profile person because look at all the attention paid to it.
John Adams and kidnapping will be accepted as a subject. Matt, do you like that that's been introduced into the show today?
I mean, why not?
You really need to go see the video, though. Everybody does. It's creepy AF, man. Hi, welcome in. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Kidnapped him some of the Lady Vol talk.
Hey, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony.
Yo.
Hey, this is Robert.
Hey, Robert. Welcome in.
I listen to your show every day, and I just don't ever call in.
Thank you, Robert.
But I really enjoy your comments and stuff about the Lady Vols. I mean, we get on here and we talk about when the men's have a bad game. So it's to me, it's only fair, to bring out when the ladies are having, a bad game. And I really like the comment that W. Lynn said about some of the players, and I've always felt the same way about the Cooper girl. She can be one of the best players on the court when she wants to be.
Accurate statement, John. What do you think? These guys banging on this Cooper kid?
I haven't really noticed it that much until maybe the South Carolina game. But the thing is, these games don't come up that often because usually they're better than their opponent. They have more talent. But when they're faced with an elite team like UConn or South Carolina, South Carolina, I don't think is in UConn's class actually, but maybe it will be by March. So yeah, maybe it stands out more.
Yeah, I think the UConn definitely has the best program, and the style that Caldwell plays, it'll get you by a lot of the lower teams. But when you get into better competition, that in and out offense, it just don't work. And if I have a daughter that's being highly recruited, I wouldn't want her to come and play at UT simply for that fact.
Robert, what if they write your daughter $1 million check to come play at UT?
Well, the way I see that, John, and is my daughter's that good, she's going to get several people interested in her, so you can kind of pick and choose.
You know what's weird about the Cooper thing, now that you guys talk about it, and it's more Lady Vol talk from Matt? You would think if I'm a competitor, the last thing I would do is mope against my former team. Like have a fan base accusing me of getting on the court and moping against my former team. I would want to do everything in my power to shut them up and to show them that, hey, you missed the boat on me. You guys let me transfer.
I agree, but I don't think she was moping in the first quarter or first quarter and a half. I think it was after the game got out of hand, and she was so probably embarrassed that she probably thinks I can play with these South Carolina players.
But none of these other people. So she was over there at Jim Caldwell's press conference
she was going, hey, Call them out.
Yeah, like, hey, Kim, do me a favor. When you go up there today, talk about how much everybody in this locker room sucked, okay? But me.
Yeah, right. But Caldwell, I hope her, she has success here, but she definitely got some things that she needs to change the way she's doing things. And I didn't really like, the statements that she was saying.
Yeah.
Instead of her taking responsibility for the way her players are playing.
I don't either.
Hey, I really appreciate you bringing this out. Yeah.
Well, thank you, my man. Good talking to you. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. I need 3 things we talked about today if you want to win the strawberries. We're going to go back to our phones, but let me go to my personal cell phone. It's rung, and it's not from a Kentucky fan. It is a longtime caller on here. Hello, caller. Welcome in.
How you doing, Tony?
Go ahead, caller.
It's me, Tony.
Where's the speaker? Where's the speaker on this thing? Matt, where's the speaker on the iPhone?
You got it at the bottom.
Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. In case you didn't hear, there was an arrest in Ottawa. Darren Lee murdered his girlfriend. Now, he played his college football at Ohio State, and he got busted for not only murdering his girlfriend, but tampering with evidence.
Well, I think if you get busted for murder, tampering with the evidence isn't a big deal.
Matt,
why are you bringing this up?
Matt, can I ask you a question? Could that count as something to bring up for the Bradley's Chocolate prize? Because I need 3 things from today's show.
I mean, now that it's been brought up, yeah.
Sure. It's so. How would we categorize this? Would this be Ottawa murder?
Occurred in Ottawa, just outside of Chattanooga.
Ottawa outlaw.
Hey, Bill. Why are you? Bill, what'd you think of the Super Bowl?
Well, I'll tell you what. I predicted that New England would win at 35-21. You know me, Tony. I'm a lousy predictor. But I'm very happy for the Seahawks. It would be like this. I don't care who won it as long as the Kansas City Chiefs is not playing in it.
Very well put, Bill. Thank you. Great call from you, Bill.
Wait, what was that killer's name?
No, we're not doing that. Thank you, Bill.
I thought he was going to do something with the Guthrie case.
Oh, this guy is just...
The Rams are going to hire, according to Matt Zenith, Michael Hunter as their defensive backs coach. They're expected to. So that's a loss for Tennessee's defensive coaching staff. Hunter just got here from Ohio State.
So UT is losing their DB's coach.
Can they still get Willie Martinez back?
Wow. So why is Bill on a cell phone? Well, Rodney, it's a very interesting question. He called my personal cell phone.
While the show's on.
While the show's on.
And
it's a lot of respect.
How did what motivated Bill to break that news?
Which broke on Thursday. Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. I almost feel like we're making light of that, which we're not. It's a horrible story, but hi, you're on the air to our next call.
Vinny the Microwave Johnson is my favorite sports nickname, of all time.
And his name came up today. And how did it come up? Because Hubbard tomorrow night has a release point that's like him. Do you think that's an accurate statement?
Somewhat. Vinny, though, he came in off the bench, though, and Hubbard's a starter. Vinny came in off the bench, and he heated things up. That's why it's perfect.
I was right on that. He did play at Baylor. I thought I remembered that.
But anyway, I was going to try to catch Griff when he was on here. We were talking about some of the Kentucky stuff. I don't think Kentucky's all that they're not as talented as like some of those like old teams, like DeMarcus Cousins and like John Wall teams and Anthony Davis. But I said this before. The roster construction on that team's really messed up. It's not anything like Pope's ever had. I'm just not sure he really knows how to coach, and maybe there's a parallel with that to like Kim Caldwell. Like, you get this money, you go spend on players, and I don't know if you overcorrect in the portal trying to fix what was wrong with your team last year. Like, Pope's teams have always like top 5 in the country in shooting threes, and that's not who he is. That's not the team he has this year. Like, he doesn't. It's a completely different type of athlete he's got.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder, why did he assemble those athletes if it doesn't fit his system, or did he plan to change his system?
You know what it comes down to, too? When you get this much money, you almost feel compelled, like John said, to almost go get pieces that don't fit because they're ranked higher. I would imagine that's very tempting. You know, you're shopping in a part of the grocery store, Lee, you're not used to shopping in.
Yeah, I think that's what happened with Shaka Smart when he went to Texas.
That's interesting.
He was getting like 5-star centers that like wanted to come play for him that you couldn't say no to when he had never coached guys like that before. You know, I think it's just weird. I think coaches do that a lot. I think they overcorrect now, especially in the portal, trying to fix things that were wrong with their teams they had the year before, and they go a little bit too far and get away from what makes them really good.
Matt, do you think?
And maybe that's what happened with the Vols, Lady Vols. I don't know. I don't really watch them. I'll be honest. So,
Matt, do you think that's could be potentially accurate and a real bugaboo for Kentucky's head coach, or really anybody that goes there?
Yeah, I think it's a problem all coaches face and go through, especially now in the portal era where you can flip your rosters, every year, and you can, like Lee said, overcorrect and do things. I think a lot of coaches have that problem when you take that step, because you see all that talent and the potential with guys, even if they don't fit what you want to do, and you think you can try to mold them into it, and a lot of times it doesn't work. So, yeah, I think a lot of coaches face that. I mean, Bruce Pearl went through that here.
No question.
After the first year or two.
Great stick, Matt.
Correct. I mean, it's just a balancing act.
The better the players got for Pearl, or the higher the recruiting classes, the diminishing returns started to happen. Very, very strange. Very strange. Pretty good stick by you,
So
Lee.
listen, and I was going to run this on Mark too with this Kentucky. Like, looking at them in the last 10 games, this is just some wild stats. Okay, they've been getting behind in all these games. If you go back and just look at the last 10 games, the first 32 minutes on average of each of those games, they're getting outscored by like 12 points per 100 possessions, which for people who don't follow it, they're getting annihilated, right? But if you take the last 8 minutes of those last 10 games on average, they're shooting 45% from three, and their opponents are shooting 8% from three on average. The last 8 minutes. That's how they're winning games. Like, it's not sustainable at all. Like, that's not going to continue. Like, and I'm not really sure how much it's just like Pope making adjustments. It's just they're hitting shots at the end of games. Now, ours was a little bit different. It wasn't like them just getting super hot at three, but that's from the 3-point line at the end of the game. But that's kind of how they're winning games. It's kind of a wild thing. I mean, I don't really think it's sustainable like this. I just think that roster is way too flawed, and it just sucks that we lost them twice after we were killing them for the first half of both games.
What was the line on that game last Saturday?
It was a pick'em, wasn't it? Or one?
Yeah, it was swinging around one. It was basically a pick'em.
Yeah,
it's going off. Which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like, look, you lose a pick'em game on the road, like a top 40 Ken Palm team. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just how you lost, because it's the same way you lost to them before. And it's just extremely frustrating. It's just maddening.
Lee, you're the man. You watching curling, Lee? You watch any of it?
No, I just wait for you to tell me what happened, man.
Well, Sweden won the gold, man. It killed me.
No way. We lost? Are you serious?
Yes, we were not. Listen, Corey let Corey down. The man, the male in the mixed pair, they were favored today. And they were the higher seed, too, after upsetting the world champion Italy yesterday. Corey... the man apologized afterwards. I was reading the caption. He apologized on closed caption. He said, I'm sorry, I had a terrible day.
Well, just stay in Italy, man. Don't even bring yourself back to the States. You let us all down, man.
All right, Lee, good talking to you.
All right.
That's
Big
pretty.
boys.
That's pretty next level. All right, here's the deal. I want to give away some chocolate-covered strawberries. 865-200-5402. I'm not doing a bit here, and I'm not getting any calls on it, and I'm worried now. John, you think nobody's listening? You're trying to give something away, and we can't give it away? You think?
Well,
we've lost our crowd here?
I don't like to second guess your work.
Right.
You are the person in charge here. I still would be reluctant to throw you under the bus. It's just not my style. I think it's a team thing. I probably could have done better today, and I apologize for not being at the top of my game. I think you struggled from the get-go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. That's throwing you. No, I think you're doing okay.
Brian, we do have a list, right, that we're making for the winners of the chocolate-covered strawberries from Bradley. That's real. And
yeah,
Bradley's
I don't think anybody's
home
won any yet.
On the 13th and 14th. On the 13th.
We're trying,
and 14th,
but to my knowledge,
yeah,
I don't think anybody's
on the 13th and 14th. So 865-200-5402. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us, and they're available on Friday and Saturday, and we're going to put your name on a list, and you're going to be a superhero.
I've gotten a couple of messages while I've been on the show about the show. So there's interest out there.
Interest.
Oh, yeah. Jennifer Morris texted me.
Oh, Jennifer, I'll put you on the list. Negative's got to go on the list because I cut him off earlier today.
Yeah, and I thought W. Lynn had a good call. I don't think the show's been that bad today, honestly.
No, the host has not. I mean, if I'm going to call out Kim Caldwell, Matt, I have not executed well today at all. Not one of my better efforts, Matt. I'd give me like a D+ today.
I would give Brian probably a B for bringing in Landon Tucker. I thought Landon brought a lot to the table. He was very complimentary.
I think I deserve an F, actually.
Why would you deserve an F, Brian? You've been very good.
Why do you say that, Brian?
Yeah, don't say that about yourself.
Good
That's a terrible
gosh.
thing to say about yourself.
It's horrible. I thought
Mark Griffin was excellent today.
I thought he was good. Well, no, he was. Mark's good. I was really intrigued by the Frank Thomas thing. I think I probably tried.
You hijacked the side show.
Because I have that tendency to scouting.
We had a serious point that we wanted to get to, and then Matt said, when I asked him about putting Boswell to point guard, Matt's like, Tony can't make an entry pass.
And I brought up the Frank Thomas thing. Again, I was intrigued by that, and that's a problem with my performances in general.
All right, Matt, did you say that, or did somebody on Twitter say that he can't make an entry pass? Who said that?
I didn't say that. I just said his turnover rate is just really high for an off guard. So I'm moving him to be your primary ball handler. I just don't think you can do that.
I think that our callers have been very effective today.
All right,
not a huge volume, but high efficiency rating.
All right, let me go back to our phones and get our next call in. I need 3 things we've talked about today. Just prove it to me. And I'm going to give away some chocolate-covered strawberries to our friends at Bradley's. Available in milk chocolate and white chocolate. And, John, what would you get for your sweetie, milk or white?
Milk or white?
Yeah, Laura loves that white chocolate.
Yeah, I like white chocolate. I'm thinking what she won't eat that I could eat.
That you could eat?
I like dark chocolate.
Oh, I love dark chocolate. Let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, you're on the air.
Hey, I got some categories for you.
All right, hit it.
John apparently for some reason does not like Steely Dan.
That's one.
And
That's good.
the guy, the kid, the Hubbard kid jumps really high when he shoots the ball.
Outstanding.
And Dave's off his meds.
3.
That's a winner right there. Hang right there. I'll take your name and your information.
Good, that's very good.
And y'all entertain this next call while I'm doing that. And, John, make sure this next caller gets 3. Hello and welcome in. Hi, you're on the air. And, by the way, we'll give some more winners out, so stay right there. Brian's right. We got to give 2 more away. So call in. I need 3 things we've talked about today.
Where are you going?
From a list. Well, you're going to talk to this. I got to get this information.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So you serve your role here.
Who is our next caller?
Hi. Welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. Dave.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Oh, just great.
That's outstanding. How have you got 3 topics have been discussed on the show today?
Well, see, lots of Lady Vols.
Could you be a little more specific?
Well, they can't shoot threes. W. Lynn says they're terrible.
Okay.
And Gillespie shaving points. That was one of my topics.
Okay.
Let's see. And Mark Griffin, he struck out Frank Thomas.
Outstanding. That's great stuff. I mean, Tony was selling his caller short. That's being very attentive. That's very detail-oriented. So,
hey, John?
Yeah.
Hey, John, how do you have a bad day in curling?
Let me ask. He asked me, Tony. I think if you're curling, you're having a bad day.
No, it's not true. His feel today and his sweeping, generally he's the best sweeper in the world.
Mm-hmm. If you're watching curling, you're having a really awful day.
Hey, do you guys think that curling broom could work on the siding on my house?
Dave, I don't understand. I mean, you're winning chocolate-covered strawberries.
He was by the way, he was outstanding on his detailed subject matter. He got Gillespie shaving points. Lady Vols can't shoot threes. And
he did not say Gillespie shaving points.
That came up. And Mark Griffin
struck out Frank
Thomas. You didn't say he was shaving points, but didn't somebody bring that up?
Negative in the chat.
Oh, okay. Well,
total idiot.
Well, that's idiocy's not the issue here.
Do you find Matt? Do you find Negative to be an idiot? Yes or no?
I think he's really extreme with his takes, but I don't think he's an idiot. No.
Do you think he's a funny caller?
Oh, I think he's a great caller. Absolutely.
Yeah. People hate Dave, but Dave, you're nuts. And your friends, you told me at your dad's receiving of friends last week that your friends called you what, like Crazy Dave or something, or Psycho
Dave?
Dave?
Back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, when I played ball, I was known as Crazy Dave.
Crazy Dave. Bino said that he saw you one time pop a ball out and you got mad and you threw the bat into the ground and it came back up and hit you in the nose and exploded your nose.
It wouldn't surprise me a bit that happened. Several things like that.
He also said that one time you made an out, you hit a ball to the outfield and made an out, and you ripped your shirt off like Hulk Hogan on the way back. That you were so mad.
That is a true story.
Matt, are you for or against this guy? How crazy he is? Bino said, he was telling a friend of ours, a friend of mine and his, he said as hard as Dave is on these coaches, he was way harder on himself on a softball field.
That's exactly right.
He said, I've never seen anything like this guy. He said, you ripped your shirt off like Hulk Hogan one time on the way back to the deal.
Oh, it was, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it ripped clean from the collar all the way to the bottom in 2 pieces.
Matt Dixon, your thoughts on the man they call Crazy Dave, who I call Nega Dave?
Oh, I'm for him all the time. Outstanding caller, brings up really good
total
topics
moron.
and points, even if they're to the extreme.
By the way, when I met his wife, Sheila, I said, Nega Sheila, I'm so sorry for your loss. I hug her, and I called her Nega Sheila. And she looked at me, and Dave started laughing. Dave, your wife's Nega Sheila. Nega Dave and Nega Sheila.
Oh, it's like almost like a family surname.
I asked her, I said, what is it like watching sports around? She goes, I go in the other room. She said she goes
to the bedroom.
Yeah, she goes, he yells and screams at the television like a madman.
Speaking of your callers, I had 5 different people at the tip-off club yesterday comment on how much they like your show.
You got to be kidding.
Yeah, I am.
Awesome.
No, I had 4, not 5.
That ain't bad. Dave, your story about stealing the license plate, you're very endearing. Stealing somebody's Florida license plate. You remember that? You were in here for that, John,
yeah.
right?
I mean, that was
so endearing.
It was, golly. I mean,
so endearing.
It made me wonder what other crimes he's committed.
Well, it's a total life hack. You know, think about that. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to steal a license plate. I'm going to put it on my car so they'll leave my car alone. That's a life hack.
I was looking at the Netflix series. No, it's Netflix. It's the Lincoln Lawyer Netflix series, not the movie. And they had somebody stealing a license tag off the car, and I thought of Dave.
I love Dave so much.
1985.
Wow.
Dave, I was watching On Patrol Live the other night, and a guy gave Sheriff Taylor. Matt, do you like Sheriff Taylor from Hazen, Arkansas? Is he not the greatest?
I love that guy.
You've seen it, Dave?
He's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're actually doing Knox County right now.
So Sheriff Taylor, the other night, a guy gives him a license plate. Gives him a name, and it's not his name. And then he runs a guy's license plate, and the guy's like driving, I don't know, like a Escalade or something. And it comes back to like a Toyota pickup truck. And Sheriff Taylor goes, step out of the car, and he puts a guy in cuffs, and he says, not only did you give me a bad name, but you're driving a car with a license plate, you know, and I thought of Dave. I'm watching OP Live, and I'm thinking about what kind of an idiot puts the wrong license plate on a car and drives around on the highway with it, and his name is Dave.
No, that didn't happen like that. We didn't put that tag on until we got down into Gainesville. And then as soon as before we hit the interstate leaving Gainesville, I put back my Tennessee tag back on.
Is stealing license tags a gateway crime?
Oh, no question. There's no telling what else Dave's done. Dave's killed many of these shows. I don't know if that's a crime.
Boy, Titans Bill tried to put this thing in the morgue.
Matt, what did you think of his call today? Well, he came from the fourth corner of his mind.
Poor Bill.
What in the world was that?
I guess he's just relaying information he got from his nephew Jesse down there.
Dave, Dave, thank you. I'll take your information. Thank you, brother. Good talking to you. Hello and welcome in. We're actually doing an overtime to the overtime. We're 15 minutes into the overtime to the overtime because I need another winner. Hi, welcome in, and I hope you're a winner.
Hey, I want to be a winner as well. I could use some strawberries. Is this Tony Basilio's true crime stories?
I mean, not really, but if you have one, share it.
Well, I can give you 4 things on the show today to get strawberries, not 3. How's that?
Smoke them if you got them.
All right. The unfortunate Guthrie story. God bless him, praying for him.
That's
the
awful.
Unfortunate Pierce story. God bless him, praying for him. The unfortunate outlaw of Oolawa. Unfortunate, praying for them. And a Sheriff Taylor story. How's that? 4 things.
Outstanding.
True crime story.
Great. What a great sports show this is. Hang right there.
So you really were shortchanging your show and your theme and your callers earlier, and it was totally unnecessary because people are paying attention.
I have people tell me that we ought to do like a general way off topic hour, like at the end, and they said it would blow up, or I just came on YouTube and did like chats like this where we just did everything.
It probably would.
Yeah.
Tony, John, you guys have got to do just sports stories. How many do you guys have?
John's got millions of
I mean,
them.
that could be a whole week, right? There's gotta be some.
He and I have talked about doing a podcast where he just sits there and tells, covering Chuck Noll and the Steelers and Dale Brown when he went after him. And Dale Brown threatened you physically?
It wasn't like physically threatened. Bad things could happen to me.
But like
Tony,
mafiosi, like mafiosi style,
yeah,
like that kind of thing.
I'm good friends.
I was in the Pat Day with UT. I think it was Jacksonville. Is that where it was? Where Dale Brown was protecting poor Shaquille. Oh,
that was in Birmingham
Birmingham
at the
That's
SEC
right.
tournament. Carlos Groves, he thought Shaq was not getting good whistles, and people were taking advantage of his 7'1", 280-pound center, and so he rushed into the fray. And luckily for him, there was no arrests made, and he continued coaching.
Does Rick Barnes
as far as the band, we were thinking who's going to get thrown out, who's left. I mean, like 3 or 4 just, got kicked out, and we don't have a chance to win. Nah, I still didn't win.
Does Rick Barnes
got kicked out.
Does Rick Barnes channel his inner Dale Brown before the season's over?
Oh my God, no!
Huh?
No, he's got a level head on his shoulders. He's a bright guy. He's not insane.
How about how Dale Brown didn't get suspended or thrown out of that tournament for that, John? He was on the bench.
You know what it was? It was kind of like, well, that's just crazy
That's
Dale.
just Dale.
Yeah, just Dale. Just Dale being Dale.
How about Wade Houston when that guy was in the pep band standing over there like a bump on a log when another guy assaulted his player? Do you know what a Bruce Pearl would do if somebody went after one of his players on a basketball court? Somebody would get punched. There would be 2 guys squaring off and one guy laying on the ground, and it would not be Bruce Pearl.
And Bruce kind of had that linebacker build to him. He could probably he probably could deliver quite a tackle.
Matt, can you imagine what that would look like if a guy attacked one of Pearl's players? As psycho as he is anyway?
Yeah, that would not be. That would end with somebody getting tasered on the court.
Yeah, like a Kentucky basketball game.
He could do what I would do. I'm like 5'4.5" on a good day.
Yeah.
And I would play intramurals basketball. You see the guys hanging around, and I couldn't hit anything because they was blocking my shots. But they hated it, and I'd block out. And I'd be blocking their knees. They would blow a knee out. It scared me. They was getting scared of me for blocking out.
Hey,
so at their knee level.
When you're 5'4" and those elbows get around that family jewelry, I don't want to play you.
I'm talking about knees, okay, but whatever.
That family jewelry, brah. That's that's a tough putt right there. That's rough sledding. Hey, hang right there. We'll take your information. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonny.
Appreciate you being there. Yes. Matt, Brian, any final thoughts for us?
USA just took a 1-0 lead over Canada in women's hockey.
Oh, that's right now?
Yes,
Dan
on
McBride,
USA
do I stay at home
channel.
on a 67-degree day, or do I get outside and not worry about USA-Canada hockey? John, what would you do, women's hockey, if you were me?
Well, fortunately, I don't have that problem. But if I were you, I would probably watch the hockey.
Jennifer Morris, who I love, she said, Tony, I love you, but she said, you're really annoying me. Jennifer, I love you.
Why were you annoying her?
Over the Kim Caldwell stuff. That's her West Virginia girl.
Well,
explain it to her. Explain to Jen how it's all in love on this show.
Love has nothing to do with it. What's love got to do with it?
Oh! John's quoting lyrics back to us, Matt. Matt, are you going to watch any hoops tonight, or are you taking the night off since we're abstaining?
No, I'll probably watch some games.
Anything in the SEC grab your interest?
There's just 2 games. Vanderbilt is at Auburn, and Arkansas is at LSU.
2 excellent games. That LSU programs, they got it going.
No, the other games kind of.
Yeah, I agree
Vanderbilt,
with that.
Auburn. I'm kind of liking.
Pearl might lose 2 in a row,
but I don't think his team's pretty good.
I agree with that.
I mean, you're knocking the SEC as not being any good, but Auburn's way down the line. But Auburn could beat some teams in the NCAA tournament.
I'm knocking the SEC as being down, and I'm also knocking the SEC as having teams that are going to go far. Although, who the hell knows? Like Arkansas last year got hot. Teams get hot. Auburn got hot. We got not. We never get hot.
So who would you pick right now? If you had, give me.
I'm not. I haven't seen a draw, but Florida is the team built for the tournament, but they're idiotic at guard.
Well, everybody talks about the tournament, that guards matter more in the NCAA tournament. Then why would you think your man Boogie Flan could get a hot hand in the NCAA tournament? Tony's just checked out now. He's talking on the phone to somebody.
I'm trying to get some information here.
Do we have any more callers with the contest?
I'm trying to get.
Hey, John, how do I get an A? You only gave me a B. How do I get an A?
A B for what? You gave Brian a B?
Yeah, but Brian, you gave yourself an F. I'll tell you how.
If I don't get an A, I get an F. I want to get an A, John.
Well, okay. First of all, never put yourself down like that by giving yourself an F. You need to be confident in what you're doing and come across strong, because a lot of times Tony blames you for things. He's talking about Caldwell throwing his team under the bus, but I've heard him rip you on air. So he really does the same thing. He's in a glass house throwing bricks. I think what you have to do, Brian, I think what would help your game is I think you need to be sometimes adversarial against Tony. You let Tony say things and just let it go. But I think you need to come back on him hard.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, I try to.
Brian, have a great day. Brian, don't listen to him. He's just trying to stir things up. All right, y'all. Love you. I got to get outside. If you hit the like button, if you're still listening to us, that would be greatly appreciated if you're in the YouTube chat. Or go over there and subscribe to us and turn on your notifications, because I'm going to start something called the Lieutenant's Lounge. Hubs has the General's quarters. I'm going to start the Lieutenant's Lounge, and we're going to have lanyards made for our Lieutenant's Lounge members over on YouTube. Lieutenant's Lounge lanyards. John, say it twice.
Lieutenant's Lounge lanyards. Lieutenant's Lounge lanyards.
Hello, this is Tony. It was Titans Bill calling again. He hung up. All right.
I thought it's really hard for him to be more random than ever.
That today.
But that was almost... It was almost like somebody else had gotten into his brain.
Somebody wants to hear us unpack the D.B. Cooper mystery. Is this thing going to be a mystery like that one? They ever going to find this lady, John?
Well, unfortunately, I think that lady died when she was being abducted, and that's why we haven't had more happen in it.
Really?
I hate this. I hope that's not the case.
There's blood all over the scene, right?
I mean, the lady's 84.
There's blood spatter there.
She's 84 years old. This is a traumatic event. Yeah. And this just animal comes into her house. God, I wish she'd have had a handgun handy.
And given
God,
him
that would have been a great ending.
Old Smokey. Old Smokey. All right, y'all. Love you. Thank you. Peace. GBO. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan run radio.
I really wanted to join Russell today. I really wanted to join Dubsy and my boy William Pattison today. Tony Basilio live in the Rainier studio, but I couldn't get there. But they're at Smoky Mountain Brewery today.